Legendary teams, major players, and electrifying tactical action are back in CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. From June 27th till July 4th, 10 teams will clash in the thrilling showdown for the prize pool of $100,000 and slots at the PGL Major Stockholm 2021. Who will win more rounds? Who will show the most furious play? And who will claim the major prize? Find out at the CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. And don't forget to reload.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now. Yep. We are back. Yeah, I'll take it away. I think Moses is having some technical issues here. So we are back again. Obviously, if you just joined us previously, you did see our matchup between, of course, Gambit and Namiga. Went the distance all 3 maps. In terms of the groups, though, we are going to have ourselves another game now. Entropiq go up against Spirit. It's an incredibly close game on paper. 15th in the world in Spirit take on 16th in the world of Entropiq. And I think, additionally, this could actually be a pretty interesting one in terms of the map pools as well. Obviously, we'll get into the veto and all of that stuff later on. As you can see, though, we haven't played too many of these games yet. This is the very first day, so this is going to be our first matchup in Group B. We also have another stream as well going on simultaneously, so if you aren't interested in this game, you want to head over there, then by all means do so. Are we all good now with the tech issues?
I don't know, Vince. We'll find out. You know how these things go. Sometimes you're muted, sometimes you're not. Can you hear me? Because
I can hear you fine.
Okay, all is good. We're good to go. Nice. Cool. You handled that well. I wasn't really paying attention. I was making sure I'm all muted. Where are we at here, Vince?
We're just checking through the group stages at the moment. Nice. Obviously, we're about to cast Spirit and Entropiq after we did just catch that first best of 3. And I was just basically saying that on paper, at least, they're fairly evenly matched in terms of their placing in the world. It's 15 against 16.
Yeah, close there, but I mean, Spirit's done some damage throughout this year, had a couple nice victories and a couple nice performances. I think one other thing that you have to take into account, Spirit, I mean, they have like that sleeper pick of like Dust 2 that they're super scary on as well. So if that map comes into play, I mean, personally, I would give them the advantage on it. So I'll be honest, I'm a little bit biased because I've seen more of Team Spirit than I have of Entropiq. So I would tend to lean in that direction. Entropiq's going to pick Dust 2. Spirit's probably going to be happy about that one. And yeah, I mean, like you said, they're close in the rankings. So this is just another really interesting CIS matchup.
But I definitely agree with you. I completely understand the sentiment that when it comes to these two teams, even though they may be close, at the end of the day, one team is definitely playing against higher level opposition on a more frequent basis than that Spirit. There's quite a discrepancy between the caliber of teams that these two teams played, and especially when you go into the finer details of their map win percentages and such, like Spirit are playing ironclad, legit top-tier teams, tier 1 teams. They're playing the Gambits, the Na'Vis, the G2s like pretty regularly and getting decent results. So yes, I completely agree. I think Dust 2 in particular, I assume that Spirit picked that because it's one of their best maps, if not their best map. And although Nuke on paper is actually like a little bit of a scrappy map, I believe they got a 25% win rate on Nuke. When you actually go into the finer details of it, it's an OT loss to G2 and a 16-14 loss as well. So the narrative maybe is a bit of a false one regarding their Nuke, where it may come across as quite weak, but actually, when you look at it, they're losing against legit teams and they're making it super close in the process.
Yeah, so that might be a little bit, as you said, sneaky with the percentages. Yeah. Also, I mean, remember, I wanted to highlight earlier when we got done with the first matchup, Entropiq had just played a series earlier today against Double Pony. So they're going to be coming in warmed up. They're going to be coming in ready to go. You know, they have already had their warm-up game, so this is going to be an interesting series to see if Spirit can match that right out of the gate, or if it's going to take them a map or two to kind of get up to that level at all. But either way, I think Nuke is actually kind of the battleground for this map for Entropiq, because if they don't win their pick starting on the T side, going into Dust 2 against a Spirit, has got to be just such a scary prospect. It's a map that they've played an overwhelming amount of times.
I completely agree. 100% in agreement with you. I think they got like an 85% win rate. It's their bread and butter pick. Like they're typically beating top flight teams. To put it in context, they've lost against VP twice recently, and in both best of threes they played Dust 2, and in both times they beat VP. 16-11 and 16-5 on Dust 2 victories. So they're losing the series, but they're still winning their choice.
Still winning Dust 2,
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
they played it. They played it 14 times in the last 3 months, and the next closest is Mirage at 8, and then Inferno at 6. So I mean, this far and away, even if they've lost some matches on it, which they haven't lost many, I mean, their knowledge of Dust 2 is just so intimate together. So Nuke is going to be huge in this series, and that's where Entropiq's going to hope to take this one. Now, talk to me a little bit about Entropiq, Vince, because I have not seen much of them. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, Entropiq, they're an interesting team. I'd say their main heavy hitters you're looking at is Elian and Forrester. These two guys are very, very capable. Elian's their AWPer, and sometimes it looks like he's smurfing against lower tier opposition. Like, the guy has crazy, crazy stats, and he's a very, very solid, like, consistent AWPer. And wouldn't you know, the CIS region has yet another crazy AWPer. It's just they're spoiled with so many choices.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't, knowing the kind of music you listen to, I'm surprised you didn't express your love for Nickelback.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
It's the low-hanging fruit. It's nice and easy. Get me into the groove of things. Yeah, I'm intrigued for this, especially like considering we just watched Nemiga, who I didn't know too much about. Just individually, the players just very, very skilled, obviously, and it just is fun to watch, even if you don't know the teams that well. Like the players and then the decisions they make and the situations they put themselves into is just a lot of fun to watch, in my opinion, out of this region. So cool stuff coming out of CS, and we're about to get live into the opening map. This all-important Nuke pick. Spirit's going to be starting on the CT side by virtue of it being Entropiq's pick. And Vince, we've got some dualies on Magics.
Nice. Big fan of that. And also, they are super solid on top of the hut, which is where he's using them. This is typically where you'll see like shotguns, those kind of weapons. Chopper, though, a player that has been around the block many a time. One of those players touted as being at one point on top of the CIS region. Go back to like Vega Squadron. Magics, though, with those aforementioned dualies, looking to try and put some pain down, but it's Crad straight out of hut. Nice shots from some guy. Young, two players get spilled down, and there is Mia. What a hold by Spirit.
Yeah, that was super nice. Just the one kill out of the dualies, but SDY, some Young dropping into the site with some very, very clinical headshots. Not to mention, remember, that pistol round started by just stopping cold any play towards the ramp room. One kill, and Entropiq was like, nah, bail out, other side of the map. 1-0 for Spirit.
And just to extend a little bit more information on Entropiq as well, I'm sure he's somebody that you'll know because he's been around the team for quite some time. Their coach is Hooch. So they have Hooch as their coach, Entropiq, and he's been there about a month, and he's had a big impact since he joined.
Nice. SDY, good nade in towards the lobby, although Entropiq steps in front of it. And just patience from Entropiq, seeing if anyone's going to walk into a Deagle headshot and give him any opportunity to find an opening kill. Nothing provided yet by Spirit, so Entropiq's going to have to start being a little bit more assertive.
Certainly a player that is going to have an impact, you feel, over the duration of this game is Dexter. Really exploded into the scene recently with Spirit. Took a lot of plaudits for good reason. One of the reasons why they're so good us too. Magics, though, with the MP9 goes in for the spray, and it is a clean up and a clean sweep.
Yeah, could have been more difficult. Miss smoke in towards the mini choke point. Kind of allows a crossfire. Even if Magics didn't get a triple kill, I think they would have handled it just fine. 2-0, and back onto just unarmored pistols for the T side. Few P250s picked up. A Deagle picked up on Nickelback.
Mir, of course, one of the main powerhouse players over on Spirit, has been up there the CIS region as one of the better players for quite some time now. Very consistent. Magic's actually, though, for me, is often their loose cannon kind of player, and he's not necessarily in terms of him being super like ruthlessly aggressive, but he is quite an inconsistent player. Like when he's on form, the guy is absolutely absurd. He probably, if for my money, their best player, and he'll have these games on like Dust 2 or Mirage where he just absolutely goes crazy, but sometimes he does go a little bit quiet. Mia, though, at range against the Nico'd up Entropiq is making his MP9 sing and print that cash money in the bank, and it's looking like it's going to be more of the same. A lot of damage to Elian, who can't really afford to go back out, but the fact that he's basically got nothing in this round other than P250 suggests that he will be opting for the AWP into the next. That's where things could get a little bit more interesting. But it seems to me that this is about to come to an abrupt end as the Scout is tagging players down very low. And Chopper, ooh, I was going to say he should clean this one up, but this has actually got a lot more costly than Spirit were hoping for.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think they really underestimated the power of that hit, even against unarmored pistols. The Scout doesn't have the stopping power that they would have liked, which means even with 2 tags, they're able to close the gap towards J-Hall. And unfortunately, Chopper didn't get enough work done with that M4. So, a bit sketchy. Still a very small chance that Entropiq's able to actually win this round, but certainly it's in the cards that they could lose way more money than they initially wanted to. That's a good find. And Forrester's going to fall next. Nice double kill from Magix.
They do get it done eventually, even if it's at the cost of life. But Elian does have his hands on the AWP, and he's definitely the player that I'm most interested to see how he performs. I think he's going to be an integral part of this. This is just the cleanup from Magix with his MP9. Great start to the game so far, already on 7 kills.
It's the bonus money. They really got a lot of mileage out of those SMGs in those previous 2 rounds. I think it was actually Magix with a triple kill with the SMG just in the previous round as well. So he himself has made a lot of money off the cash bonus. A lot of utility used early on. Entropiq, just the 1 smoke left on Forrester, and they haven't used any of those smokes outside to gain ground. Looks like 3 players headed towards Chopper and Ramp Room.
Dexter's there as well. That's why Chopper didn't feel like he needed to toss down his incendiary. He may think twice about that, but Dexter's just holding it. Elian's been punished alongside Crad, and now Chopper is going to pivot round the side and finishes off the rest. That is an exquisite hold in ramp. Now, Lucky's at least made this a bit more costly as he picks himself up a double. But Team Spirit, if they can lock it down at this stage, they'll be just fine with this outcome. And to make matters worse, the bomb is actually in ramp. So Lackey doesn't even have that going for him. 25 HP, just a quarter left, and it feels like he's living on borrowed time.
It's a nice kill, though, and that's obviously an AWP that they'd like to... Oh, excuse me, Chopper has it. And so they can just sit, wait, and guard the bomb. 2 HP and a 4th round for Team Spirit. Surely it's the way it's going to end.
Yeah, and at this kind of stage of the game as well, is Lackey content to just save this? It's so early on, and this does put his economy in a bit of an awkward spot, but I suppose it does afford them the luxury of having an AK and Kevlar, and they can buy around this, so fair enough if they decide to do so. It's 2 players down that mid $3,000 mark that's making me a little bit nervous for this purchase if they do go in for it.
If they call here, you have to imagine they have some kind of like a strategy that they want to run. Not just like a round you're going to go into and set up a default and kind of see what happens and try and gather information, but like we're just going to execute this strategy. And I would be surprised to see them make that decision this early. That's a lot of economy to just throw into a round that you don't necessarily have to at just 4-0. And indeed, it's mostly going to be a save. A little bit of utility to get them some room to work with. All 5 players inside in the Nuke lobby. Again, towards ramp room seems to be the call.
I think it's that risk versus reward as well with the purchase. They know that Spirit's economy is fine. They are going to start to rush in. Chopper instantly throws his molly and backs away, and it's that bait and switch again. We've already seen this take shape. A bit more of a passive look on it, but the same outcome with success. Now, they have given up ramp control. Dexter took his shot, then fell back from L-bend. but they're already positioning players downstairs. Chopper's joined by Mia. This is excellent reactions to a threat that's looming. Additionally, they have Dexter, who's fell out of hell, but is watching it with the AWP. So they know that heaven can be covered. Now that smoke has gone down, though, definitely leaves this up for a little bit more of a conversation. Dexter changes his attention towards heaven, but he knows they could be bypassing through lockers. And so he's very cognizant, very careful of this, but time is dwindling away. Entropiq need to start making a punch. They need to start having some impact in this.
Yeah, and I don't think they did enough. That's a good kill on a Chopper. Mirror's right here. They at least started coming up from the lower bumps. They didn't have to. Ooh, and look at this. Now Forrester could try and cut off these rotations. Hopefully, one dig. He wants it. We missed the chance. A plant would be great for Entropiq if they could get it. And I think they just might as the bomb goes down, but there's a double kill. And somehow this round is completely turned. Oh, Team Spirit was in such a good position.
They really were. It looked like it would be a bit of a formality of a round, especially when Forrester missed out on his deagles. Now, Dexter's still at least seemingly interested in biting down and trying to clutch this round. Has the kit. They can afford to buy into the next one. It's only Mia that's a little bit struggled, but now that that Molly has found nothing on Shadow, I think maybe if he gets that pick, he's interested. Lucky's made some noise down on Decon, peeks in, Dexter nullifies him. So it will be the first round to Entropiq, not without casualties, but they did somewhat steal that round away from under the nose of Spirit. He'll be very disappointed they ended up conceding that.
And this is so tough. I'm amazed they lost that. They had such a solid setup. 2 in the lower, 2 in the upper. The AWP watching towards heaven as well. It felt like they had all their bases covered and just kind of, I don't know. I think the smoke might have made those lower bomb site players a little bit nervous, and they moved out of their safe positions. That's a tough round to lose if you're Team Spirit, especially against just the Deagles. The 1 AK that was brought into it. So Entropiq's on the board.
Certainly better late than never, but both teams' money. A little bit of a sketchy situation. Dexter not too far off connecting onto the crossing T's, but all of them, barring one player, have pushed downstairs. Mia spots a few heads. Damage has been inflicted, but more importantly, he stays alive. Can change up his angle, gets up to the catwalk quickly, and also threads a headshot. Chopper's joined him. And the speed in which Spirit rotate, wrap around, and get these crossfires established is great to watch. They're doing such a good job of cordoning off these areas, but whereas they fell and slipped away in the last round, they'll have to make sure they do better this time.
Yeah, this should be almost impossible for Entropiq to get into. They've got 1 smoke, 1 flashbang. They've got a crossfire between Mirror and Chopper. Another smoke goes down for the defense. That's beautifully timed. Again, all bases covered. If they can just hold their nerve, surely there's no chance. Mirror with the 3rd kill is having a stellar round. And he's going to play behind Silo and do just fine.
And they force the attention away from Forrester. So Elian has fallen as a result. He's had very little impact in this game, which is quite surprising to me. Forrester, the other component of the machinery of Entropiq, has also been eroded away by Magic's M4. And it seems like a bit of sanity for Spirit has returned to the server. And because of the lackluster economy from Entropiq, they may be facing the very real possibility of having to dip down into a save. Crad could afford an AK, but the rest of his team probably dipping down to pistols.
Yeah, unfortunate. After the success of that 1 Deagle round, but I think that kind of goes to show you a little bit more of an aberration than anything that was truly figured out or countered. Mir gets a good amount of damage done to Forrester, spamming through the smoke and vent, however, cannot complete the kill. He's going to try and beat the timing, but doesn't have it and backs away. Dexter with a nice kill from the AWP. That's over towards ramp room, and he's just going to back away and give it up.
Not too committed to any of these positions. They know when they are overextending when they're in a disadvantageous position. The timing for Chopper could not have been sweeter. His aim wasn't quite up to the task, though, and that may have cost him his life. If he gets that first kill cleaner, I think he can transition into Nickelback that little bit quicker. Post-plant comes into play, 4v3, but Forrester is low, and there's only one primary weapon between the three of them, and that's on Nickelback. They do now start to pick up some AKs for themselves as well. Maybe there is a way back into this round. There's still some utility. 4 incendiaries at play. Forrester's Tech 9, though, rips off the head of Mia. And this is the same graveyard that Team Spirit double peaked before, and Lucky sprayed them down. So a bit of deja vu. And in the blink of an eye, nice shot from Dexter, but it's too little too late. Entropiq have actually won this round. The 2 rounds that they've won, on paper, they should never have been close in.
Yeah, this time it was curious considering how well Spirit's done at rotating another player to the lower bomb site, how quick it's been in the past. This time they were very slow on it, and Chopper was all alone. And like you said, a really scuffed first kill didn't give him enough time to adjust and recover enough for the second kill. But also even towards the end, when you're taking control of that corner, Dexter had a flashbang that whole time with the AWP. You can back into that corner and set it up. And I mean, you can use that to take control of control side windows. No flash used, and it's 3 kills for the Entropiq side, and another just somehow odd victory to come out of nowhere. There's Elion getting an opening kill on Demir.
That's the first bit of impact we've really seen from him. Going into the 8th round, I guarantee that will not remain the case. He'll definitely get involved in more of these rounds as the game continues going forward. Some Die Young, though, realizing that there's a bit of vulnerability on the A side, was flirting with the idea of getting aggressive into lobby, but thinks better of that decision. They know that outside control's basically been taken by the T's, which is why they posted up the player in secret who took his shot, fell back. That's Dexter into a different position. Now, as long as he can show a little bit of initiative here and his teammates can survive, then maybe he can fake it if he comes back in again. But Senpai Young has put 2 bullets to heads. That's a huge turn of events for Spirit, but they continue to just lack the firepower and manpower to really make a go of this one. Chopper, though, gets the drop onto Forrester, but Dexter's position, who was last seen in secret, has to go back up there again. Now, do they expect him to still be around this vicinity? Probably not, but the fact that they smoked off main makes this so much harder for him to clutch.
Yeah, they're both pretty convinced at the moment. They might have heard him coming up secret or scoping in, but they're both zoned in on that smoke as well. And now considering heaven, so certainly they had the read that he was outside. Nice win from Entropiq to get their 3rd, and all of a sudden, I mean, even the rounds where they lost, it felt like Team Spirit had control of them, but like 2 heartbreaks take all the money away, and then finally Entropiq put together a good gun round, and you've knocked out the economy of Spirit. 3-5 early on in this first half. A good recovery from Entropiq.
And here's that opening pick from Elion, great spawn. And although Some Die Young put his last stand heroically in main, it wasn't enough with his double to yield the round. And as you said, I mean, that's always the curse of the CT side. You can be off to a great start, couple rounds go against you, and suddenly you've got no money left to play with. So they have to bank off Dexter here having a huge amount of impact. Looks like they're going to be playing a fairly standard round overall. They're stacking A little bit, but also Ramp's getting aggressed on.
Well, opening kill, op in position in ramp room, far away from all the action. Then should be a 4th round for Entropiq. So this is good, Vince. I mean, Entropiq picks the map. We're starting to see a little bit why. Yeah, they've been bailed out by a couple, I guess, pistol by wins, Deagles and P250s. But I mean, if you can back it up with some gun rounds after that, all of a sudden you're going to have yourself looking pretty good. So, I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, it's kind of what we talked about with the Amiga game against Gambit, is where they won a couple of these Deagle rounds and we weren't getting too carried away, because it's one thing to pull out some crazy 1 Deags, but how do you manage to fare when you've got rifle, you're playing more strategically tactics are coming to the forefront. So the fact that they've won these scrappy pistol rounds, but then back it up, they do the talking and they walk the walk afterwards, is very big for the overall standing of this game. And I mean, statistically, Entropiq look like they'd probably fare pretty well on Nuke. Again, we mentioned about the false narrative about Spirit's poor Nuke performances, 25% win rate after 4 games played, but very close games against the likes of G2 thrown in the mix. So we're starting to see what Entropiq have to offer here, and they've kept 2 MAC-10s. This is effectively a bonus round. I'm not sure if they've misread the situation here, because they could have upgraded, and Spirit have a decent buy of their own. So I wonder if they'll still end up backfiring for the T's.
Ooh, it's all Dexter. He went down immediately. Turning the corner, missed that shot against a MAC-10, and you're in a lot of trouble. Doesn't get a second chance. Chopper's here, and even he second gets himself. You could see him start to back up as soon as he knew he was going to make contact, and no one from Team Spirit is able to slow down this hit. A simple secret wall outside and a rush with those MAC-10s leading the way. And we're all tied up.
That's an uncharacteristic miss as well from Dexter. He's one of those guys, especially at close range. He's one of the best close range AWPers, I think, on the planet. So for him to miss that shot is very surprising. Obviously, it looks a lot easier than it actually is. Well, but as you said, he gets punished.
Yeah, and even if he hits that first shot, I feel like that's got to be a 1-for-1 after that. You know, even if he gets it right, there's a second player coming around that corner at full speed. That's a tough angle for AWPers, especially if there's multiple players actually attacking it. So 5-5, 2 M4s are saved. Yeah, there's the first kill, and there's a second player certainly jumping right around the corner with him. Tough time if you are Team Spirit.
I think you're spot on there, Moses. I think it was Nickelback and Crad. The spacing was very close to each other. So even if he did connect the first shot, he was definitely dead, and that wouldn't probably have been good enough. But here comes the tactical timeout, and they have a chance to go over a couple of things.
Yeah.
It has been a pretty scrappy half so far. Like, they got 5 rounds, which looks pretty solid, but you have to keep in mind that they had, what, a 4-0, 4-1 lead at one point. So the trajectory of this game, the momentum is definitely shifted in Entropiq's favor.
Yeah, 4-0 and then 5-1, and then it's been 4 straight for Entropiq. So fair play to them. Both teams opening this up with a 5-1 run.
Glass cannon from Dexter. He still, even with that previous miss, has had a lot of big, impactful rounds. I think we're expecting Nuke to maybe be the closest map. I completely agree with your assessment as well, Moses, that for me, this is kind of the battleground for this best of 3, that if Entropiq don't win Nuke, it probably will go 2-0 to Spirit. And that pressure has to be there. Now, they've conceded the first player. Lucky's been found and fragged by Mia's hand. And although there's a lack of utility, that kill alleviates a lot of that pressure, a lot of those issues that could accrue later into the round.
And I think Dexter's feeling like Entropiq might switch back to the strategy they opened the half with, which was, a little bit more bodies, a little bit more time and resources sent towards ramp room. And they lost a couple rounds over there, him and Chopper. A few miscues. Lost, I believe, a deagle round at that part of the map as well. So here, he's sticking around quite a bit towards J-Hall. That leaves Mir in the outside garage, leaves 2 players in the upper bomb site. Here comes the split. Nickelback's ready to turn in towards Mini. Blocked off by the smoke at the moment, but it's actually a one-way, and he finds both. Both openings does eventually fall, which gives the retake a chance.
Oh, it's just ridiculous, but no one's watching Heaven. Chopper just runs out, gets the freebie frag. And he maybe baited into overextending. Elian's watching the cross, but he spots Elian, takes him out the equation. It's down to Crad against Chopper, and Chopper comes out ahead, takes off his head, and actually had to double take for a second. He's like, wait, is there any more left?
Yeah.
He had that split second and realized that everyone was gone.
Yeah, someone on his team was like, no, bro, that's all of them. You got it. I don't know if the communication just didn't get passed along properly on Entropiq's side. Elian didn't seem to have any idea that Chopper actually dropped to the ground. It still felt to me like he was looking up. And I would wonder if that smoke is designed, if they're using the edge of that smoke to just look around it as a little bit of a one-way. Good shooting from Elian, unfortunately, can't close out the round. So Team Spirit just maintaining a narrow lead.
with losing 4 domos, as you can see that the economy still for Spirit's in pretty rough shape. They got very little in reserve. They got an XM, which honestly, the XM on a map like Nuke is completely viable. For me, it's a tier 1 weapon at the top of HUT. It is very, very powerful indeed, but it's more the FAMAS, the 1 kit, no utility left on Mia so early in the round that's an issue. Whereas Entropiq are good to go next round, whatever happens here, and probably for 2 more rounds afterwards. So the pressure is still firmly applied squarely to Spirit at this stage. And barring a pretty miraculous clutch from Chopper, you're looking at an entirely different ball game, where Entropiq can maybe just rummage together a 10-5 lead coming into that second half. So a huge moment for Spirit, and Entropiq is slowing down the pace outside.
Well, if there wasn't this kind of pressure, we wouldn't get to see an auto shotgun. So I'm happy for it. Mir just glancing towards the mini entrance. Dexter's going to take a shot, doesn't land anything. And now again, it's about how do they handle the rotation downstairs. Auto shotgun behind the smoke. There's time to wait it out. And there goes Magix. I don't know why I'm having so much difficulty with that one. SDY still waiting for him to come through. But remember, as the timing on this smoke drops, he's got to back away.
At this kind of a range, though, if they don't check this particular angle, he probably splatters them before they have a chance to really react to him. So there is every opportunity that he's still going to strike. And strike hard. And indeed he does. Head removed from Krad. Players bypass his position down to Decon. Nickelback's already spilled out into the site, but Elien has him covered. Is found and dealt with accordingly. Sumdai Young, that second headshot is so snappy onto Decon, and Forrester walks into his crosshair. It's another heroic round, and this time it's Sumdai Young with a brisk 4K.
That is a round and a half. Well done from Sumdai Young. And I mean, it's tough too. Remember, he gets that first kill with the shotgun, and you could tell he thought there was going to be at least one more. He doesn't have the information. They're already out in the bomb site, so his teammate goes down. There's no support. This is all him, and that's a stellar shot into Elien. You feel like the op's going to have the advantage there, but not in this case. 7-5. Still another purchase, or maybe 2 if there's another bomb plant to burn through for Entropiq. So their economy towards the later stages it's dwindling, but it's actually, due to how powerful it was earlier, they're sitting just fine for the moment.
Oh yeah, for sure. And again, it goes to show just how important and integral that Chopper clutch was. Because even with all of that, those issues financially, they're still okay. Elien, flashbang alongside Lackey, gets Dexter down, and he's definitely slowed down a little bit after that miss on Secret. He's not quite had the same level of impact as he did in the first few rounds. They've really done a great job of dealing with him outside. Mia up close, spotting 1, but where 1 sits, 2 will follow. And Forrester, alongside Nickelback, makes sure that the player advantage stays firmly in the T's favor.
Chopper and Magix are going to work together to clear out lobby. Chopper's not necessary. Magix clears it on his own, so Chopper's able to fall back. And again, SDY might get called upon. But there's so many options available to Entropiq that it's really, really difficult for these Spirit defenders to figure out how to play together. SDY just waiting patiently in the lower bomb site, waiting for a door to open, any kind of a sound cue, and there it is. He glances down. 1 player's already out. He's got that kill. 1 more out the window, and he cannot convert over in time, but Chopper is here, holds the trigger, and Elien's got 37 seconds in a 1 versus 2.
With the AWP down, he knows where one of these players are because it was the AWP from Chopper on ramp, but it was all about Magix. And he was hiding and waiting, made the most of that opportunity, and Spirit, again, another very close round, but they make it work. They just seem to have that cohesion when it really counts in the dying embers of these rounds. And Entropiq, this is going to be a heartbreaking turn of events, man, because when we got to 5-5, Entropiq looked like the better team by a mile. Their economy was brimming to the full. I was expecting big things, but since then, Spirit have dug deep, and they've just hit that extra gear.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit took some punches early. They lost 2 heartbreaking rounds that got Entropiq started on this streak. And now that they've kind of regained control and regained their composure, again, looking okay. There's been some sketchy moments, but 3 retakes, 3 defuses. That's got to be quite nice for Team Spirit as a timeout is called. But looking good. Remember, this is Entropiq's pick as well. So if you end this first half at 10-5 on your opponent's pick, you're going to be very, very happy when you switch sides.
Oh, no doubt. They're feeling pretty good right now, but they still need to get the job done and finish this one off strong. Forrester, for me, has been a little bit off the boil. He typically is one of those riflers that you can bank on to do a lot of damage, but he's not really been involved too much in this. It's mainly been Nickelback, actually, who's typically one of their less performing players. Alien on the cross. Dexter getting that impact that he sorely missed these last few rounds, even with them winning. And now Mia has an opportunity, but the timing just works against him. He's in transition, trying to get back towards the B site. It's forcing Chopper's hand to go in quickly, already expending a bit of utility. But in amongst all this chaos, Entropiq are just getting little bits of real estate dotted across the map.
Yeah, this wasn't necessarily designed in any way. Entropiq still had 2 players outside walking by T-spawn when that kill comes down lower. The main hit is going to be the upper bomb site. They're just going to walk right outdoor, but all of Spirit has rotated to address the lower bomb sites. It's had so much pressure on it, but now they get a comeback from Secret Stairs. Double nades don't do any damage to Crad or Nickelback. And walking into the site, it is completely clear, and still no sound cues given up by Entropiq to let Team Spirit know exactly what's happening.
Going into that plant, forcing it down, but even then it's a 2v4. Smoke deployed, allows Sundai Young to get aggressive, get the overwatch, try and rain in some pain from above. 3 players on Heaven, flash down neck, Nickelback, good frag, even while Flash, but Magix follows up. It's another successful defuse. Man, Spirit are so clutch. In these nitty-gritty rounds where things could easily go pear-shaped, they always somehow prevail.
Yeah, they've certainly started doing a good job of that again after that small streak that Entropiq went on. That's a very nice retake there as well. A lot of bodies coming in from Heaven and just not enough people on the Entropiq side to really stop it. Good spacing, good job utilizing the flashbangs. And Spirit, 9-5 lead. One more round to close out this first half of Nuke.
All the default standard grenades to kick things off. Entropiq are actually spending a lot, though, to try and get outside control. And Mia, who was on red container, shot off a couple of bullets, but it was all on Sundai Young, who's had an exceptionally good first half here. Often a player that gets overshadowed by Mia and Dexter in particular, but he is Mr. Consistent, and Magix will rattle the head of Crad. It's looking good for Spirit to take the 10-5 lead, which all things considered is such a good result for them going through into the second half. Maybe Alien can pull out something truly spectacular, but he doesn't even have control over the bomb. There's very little in terms of a silver lining over that dark cloud that's looming overhead. Not just him, but also Entropiq as a whole.
Yeah, that's a good half. Good recovery from Spirit. Wasn't picture perfect. Wasn't, you know, there's plenty of things that they could still work on, I think. But that they've got to be happy with that one. Recovered very nicely after dropping 4 in a row. And especially considering they lost 2 force buy rounds to pistols, that could have been devastating. 10-5 as we switch sides. SDY was great, as you said, but the whole team is like pretty much right there. 15 kills on SDY, 14 on Magix, 12 on Mir and Chopper, Dexter at 10. I mean, everyone's delivering, which is great news for Spirit. Second half pistol round is live.
15 kills to Sundai Young. Just unbelievable. And a lot of those rounds were in sort of clutches and when his back was against the wall, but going to be aggressive, going to try and explode out, break through the shackles of this T side. A few shots were ringing out there, but Crad is actually just buckled in and is nestling into the box, and everyone's bypassing. He has every chance here to strike, and he takes his chance and with surgical precision removes all the T's on ramp. Excellent round from Crad, who's been a little bit quiet in that first half.
Ooh.
And Nickelback will finish off.
Yeah, that's got to be, that's your ideal scenario, hiding behind that box. Nobody checks it. Spirit just trying to get down low as quick as humanly possible. They did not cross the T's or dot the I's. So a little bit of a life for Entropiq to start out this second half. M4 is picked up on Crad and Elian and Nickelback. And no investment from Team Spirit without that plant. They stay on pistols, no armor. Gonna buy up in the next round.
Especially with the buffer of rounds No reason to throw caution to the wind right now. Panic button.
Yeah, it's not
a long
panic
way
mode
from
just
needing
yet.
to be pushed.
Yeah.
That being said, though, here, Moses, I mean, even with no investment, Entropiq still need to make sure that they ensure themselves a little bit for further finances and don't drop any of these guns. Because if they lose an M4 or two here, that definitely can catch up with them. We saw even in the first half with Spirit getting a great 4-0, 5-1 kind of lead. He lost 2 in a row. They were instantly back into an eco. So you have to make sure that you at no point take these rounds for granted. The timing may afford some die young, the frag, but it's just a Glock. And so they do keep all 5 players alive. And 3 of them were picked up by Forrester. So that's a lot of money in the bank for him.
Yeah, bonus cash. Saw it help out Spirit in the first half as well. This is some nice dually work there. This is that pistol on replay. Absolutely filthy. It was even, I believe, a one tap from Nickelback with the dualies in the lower bomb site right at the end to close out that round as well. 10-7. We've got AKs. We've got a Krieg on board with Dexter.
Yeah, tailor-made for angles like this outside. Does love all guns to have that scope attachment on them, but no one is coming up against him because they've retained 2 of the MP9s. They're going to be playing these closer angles. Elian getting outside needs to tread lightly, though, because that would have been the kind of angle that Dexter could have been peering into. That Molotov may very well have actually saved Elian's life. He does get tickled by the molly. I'm not sure if they heard that sound cue. Goes back up again. And Dexter's being forced away from Nickelback. He's going to get pushed in. That's the front first. Nickelback gets through. Nearly a third, just runs out of ammunition, but he's done more than enough. Above and beyond what his team could have asked from him.
Yeah, I think miscue from Team Spirit. Seemed like one player wanted to jump through the smoke. One player wanted to sit inside the smoke and wait for it to fade. And both of them do something different and get slaughtered. Good advantage for Entropiq, and that's all the utility. One flashbang on Chopper, but you got an SMG inside the hut. This can be so tough to clear out. And Spirit has to gain something from these smokes that were just put out outside over towards lockers. Chopper has to be able to cross over to get that bomb just as the mini smoke fades.
.30 seconds. Just shy now of that mark. Need to make some moves. Chopper's had a very good map thus far. Be looking for some more entries. Some die young, close proximity, where the MP9 could very well shred him to pieces. And there's a secondary element. I think some die young may have spotted the play at the back of the site. Indeed, he did. And although they know that Crad was posted up in the hut, they need to get a move on and get that plant down. Nice overwatch shown from Dexter, who has his teammate bodyguard in the form of Chopper. The one bullet anywhere on him, and he's a goner. And it's Elian from above who made moves into heaven that's neutralized him. It's at the cost of a bomb plant and 3 players, but Entropiq have picked up their 8th.
Yeah, an admirable attempt, but it is that SMG inside the hut. Tough to clear out, and especially when he wins that fight, like there's nowhere to go when you do get the bomb planted. You're stuck. You can't find any escape to get into any good post-plant positions, and there's just way too many angles. So Entropiq starting the second half out very nicely. This is that double kill. That's what I'm talking about. I think Mir wanted to sit in the smoke, and Magix wanted to jump through it, and they decide against neither. Or both, whichever way you want to look at it.
Young was toying with the idea of getting aggressive, but maybe realizing that grenades would have been coming his way, and that was the correct assumption. It was 2 HEs and an incendiary that was knocked down straight away, but look at all of the ground that they've made outside, and they know that Elian's also posted up on the vents here, so smoke comes down just to keep himself alive a little bit longer. Gets peeked, though, from Mia, who's just holding down the aggression. 2 kills to him, and Chopper cleans up onto Lackey, who tries to get outside and wrap himself around the side of the heaven area. With Mia getting a 3rd, this round is just falling into place beautifully for Spirit. They pick up the pace, they change it up, and they've got the rewards for the troubles.
Yeah, that's a nice, easy victory off of a change of pace, but I don't think you're going to be able to execute that too many more times with success. That might be one you got to put in the back pocket for a few rounds and win some other ways before you go back to it. The shock value is extreme. Mir with a nice triple kill leading the way. And that's a defense that was very dedicated to holding outside as Team Spirit wrapped upon them. 11th round as Spirit have taken some hits, and they still maintain a 3-round lead. AWP is going to be picked up. And taken out of his hands immediately. Nice job from SDY.
Always love to see when a team are all pulling their weight. You look at that kill dispersal between the entire team. Everyone over 10 on Team Spirit. 4 players, 16 or 15. Same can't be said over on Entropiq. It's Nickelback that's leading the charge, and then you've got Forrester falling behind, which is kind of a role reversal, really. You expect that to be the other way around for that team, but a tactical pause has been dropped there. Money is in a bit of an awkward position here. They got 7.2k though on Crad, and this is that me around, just the aggression. Getting so up close, but I love the way you coined that shock factor. It's not the kind of round that you can go back to, rinse and repeat, and get results from, because you have to assume that Entropiq will try and fill in that gap. But I suppose this is where that game of chess comes in from the IGLs, where, right, if they expect us to do that again, or they try and facilitate that we can't, is there another period of the map or another part of the map that where we can probe and maybe get success there instead?
Here we go, round number 20 underway. 3 players outside, Magic's Dexter and Chopper. Again, fast paced, but this time not attacking the ramp. They're just gonna use a Molotov and a smoke and mini to cross towards secret stairs, and once they get down these stairs, they're just gonna go quiet. Excuse me, 2 players actually got into big garage. It's only 1 player that's gone down the stairs, and he's just looking for the response. So actually, Spirit's gained some decent control. What can they get from here, and where can they apply pressure from these positions? Because losing outside, Entropiq has already decided to start crunching in towards lobby, and Dexter spots it out from the warehouse. Or big garage.
Winning outside like this is kind of like having full control on middle over a map like Mirage or Dust 2. It just affords you so many avenues and so many parts of the map that you can now exploit and try and expunge. And they're already pushing their way and dissolving a lot of the defenses towards Heaven. Forrester has the right idea, but maybe not the weaponry to feasibly hold this off. The good news for Entropiq, and there's not too much of it to spare, is that they do have the bulk of their defenses that are situated in close proximity to A. They've got players in lobby. All 4 players are stacked over here. And time is starting to become a bit of an issue as well for Spirit. 2 of their 5 players, pardon me, up in Heaven suggest that this will be an A hit, but they need to start getting some success. If this continues in this fashion, they are just going to lose to time. And at some point, they need that entry. It's gone against them. Ellie and the Nickelback both come in. Forrester takes down Mir in midair, and the bomb's been spilled out. This round is basically done. Entropiq have held the line.
I actually think Spirit had that round won for like 20 to 30 seconds and just like never pulled the trigger on that hit. They had a lot of advantages. Team Spirit at one point, after that kill from Dexter in towards lobby, after they took lobby control, this one right here, there's like a good 20 seconds where they're split on the map, all 4 players, no one's anywhere close to each other, and they realized that and they consolidated their defense while Team Spirit was taking so much time to set things up. 2-round lead and an upper rush. Although a Molotov and an AK-47 gonna put an easy stop to it.
Oh yeah, they plugged that gap with bullets, and Forrester's picked up 2 from Self. Magic's actually can take that opportunity to delve down into the B side of the map via vents. And that's not a bad idea, but the problem is that the bomb is still isolated and segregated away from him, and it's stuck the wrong side of ramp as far as the T's are concerned. And Lackey with an M4. Chopper with the bomb on his back is 1 bullet away from death, so they need to get this entry, and they do get it, albeit at the cost of Chopper's life. M4 now trades hands, and a player down in L-Bend is Elian, but he still manages to connect the headshot, even while dinked. 2 of the remaining 4 players are low. There is time to play with, and Dexter has Kevlar behind this M4. It's a very unlikely round, but there is a way forward for him, considering that 2 players are very low here. Now, maybe he can play the time and try and isolate a couple of these players and hope that Entropiq makes some mistakes, but 9 out of 10 times, if not more here, Moses, surely Entropiq get their 10th.
Oh yeah, they're going to get their 10th. I think at this point, if you're Dexter, go for kills, go for damage. He spent a lot of time hoping someone was going to re-aggress upon him. They knew his position. No one's messed him whatsoever. get 1 or 2 kills, and that could have been massive because they got a huge losing bonus. So they're going to be just fine for their purchase for this round. But I don't want to say it, but it feels the last few gun rounds have been so quick. Remember we talked about that change of pace and how it's going to be hard to win a lot of rounds off of them. That's what's scaring me a little bit. Early to kind of start switching into those on a round-to-round basis starts to make me feel they're feeling the pressure on this T-side Nuke of running out of ideas of exactly how to break Entropiq's defense. See what they've got this time. Seems a bit more slow and measured. Dexter's not going to get a chance through that blown open door. Smoke just goes down now.
So early in the round, though, if Dexter wants to sit there and wait and just hope for that pixel peak, then it could happen, but they've actually already fell back, looking like they're going to be throwing the wall of smokes outside. So it's a delayed hit outside, or at least faking the idea. I think with all this expended utility, though, they're at least going to push one player out there. So this is more of an interference play. Mia's going up there alone. The rest of the T's, though, starting to make moves. Mia maybe trying to push down Secret to try and hit onto the B site. Try and be that nuisance. But so far, to Entropiq's credit, they haven't bit down on this too hard. They're holding their positions.
Well, they've got the AWP in ramp room, so he's got a deep angle. So they don't need anyone to really support him. He can take that shot. If he hits it, he can stick around. There's the follow-up. Dexter's got him pinned down, but he's still able to get some shots off. He's had a few more chances. Molotov's going to put him out into the open, and there it is. Picked off. Nothing left to do. And Mir finds a kill on the rotation from there. Forrester could have a fast flank, but control windows is lost. And Team Spirit, 20 seconds. Don't run out of time again.
Almost like they heard you there, Moses. They knew they had to pick up the pace, and Lucky's life being deemed forfeit will afford them the luxury of the plant. They pay that toll with a smile on their face. Forrester with 1, but that's all he'll get. And Spirit will regain and extend their lead once again to 2 rounds. Entropiq with this saved gun, though, could go in for another purchase, albeit Lucky down on not great finances. At Spirit, they're just about holding on tooth and nail to this lead. It's another incredibly close match, though, Moses. We've been blessed with a bunch of close maps today.
Yeah, been a good opening day of Counter-Strike for the CIS RMR. At least on this stream. Not sure about the other streams. 12-10. But that's a tenuous 12-10. Spirit still haven't strung 2 rounds together on this T side in the second half. I don't think they've really convinced anyone that they have a winning game plan quite yet. Although they do have the money of Entropiq in a very precarious position. So we're going to see a timeout. Forrest has plenty of cash. Crad can kind of eat into utility money to drop over. So should be a decent enough buy if they decide to go that route. But that's everything they got. That could be the map in this next buy if they decide to risk it all.
Yeah, this is a monumental decision, and it looks like the decision has been made, and it is to buy. It's all systems go. They feel like now is the moment to try and strike down when Spirit's economy's not in great shape either. This is a fulcrum point round. Absolutely could be top heavy in Spirit's favor, and we've already discussed that after this it gets no easier for Entropiq heading to Dust 2. So try and take this game by the scruff of the neck and make it yours. Lucky's down to a deagle. There was an AWP dropped, I'm pretty sure. Indeed there was. The Alien has that for himself. And Spirit already lining up a ton of grenades for outside.
Yeah, they put together a solid buy here, Entropiq, but again, it's the risk of so much money into this one round. If they lose this, it's likely 14-10 for Team Spirit. Pretty quiet on the map. Spirit looks like they're going to go for an upper bust. Most players in lobby and on the roof lining up their nades, and at the moment it's Forrester in the open, Krad's in the open as well. That's a big first kill. Flashbangs are coming in late, and ineffectively, Forrester, Wild Spray gets a second, and they're just somehow making it work. Dexter in a 1 versus 2.
Far from smooth, far from pretty, but it's effective for Entropiq. Dexter still in with a shot, but the shot is passed between his eyes. And it's from Alien's AWP. That force buy proving to be a stroke of genius, and Spirit now struggling again.
Again, there was a window of opportunity. Even when they lose that first player, if that kill on Forrester can get traded quicker, Elian wasn't involved in the action quite yet. Like, Elian's still outside, even at this point. He's just coming up the vet, excuse me. So if they were able to turn the corner and wrap into that bomb site, they might have been able to catch him off. But once he gets some time to get settled, it's real tough. And here we go again. Fast pace towards ramp room. Tech9's utility. Jumping across, but Elian's still going to hit the shot. Doesn't realize they can wrap on him. And again, he's trapped, but this time he hits the flick. Another one almost comes in. Good trades with these pistols, but it's too costly. Spirit doesn't have the manpower or the firepower to handle these.
Mia, as ever, though, outside's on the prowl, looking for some prey to stalk. Chopper, bypassing ramp, does have the bomb. So important he survives. And now the two of them can tandem themselves onto the A site. There is a player down here, though, in the form of Forrester, I believe, in Hut. So he's making moves around in lobby. Chopper can get the plant down. He knows he's safe from Mia. This is now a winnable round for Spirit. Maybe unlikely, maybe Entropiq more often than not get this done, but there is at least a window. A safety net has been put down. Up close, Chopper's Tech9 can rip and tear through these oncoming CTs just like that, as Crad finds out firsthand. Nice wall bang comes in, forces Chopper out, but now Mia's put it down into one-on-one, and the timing for Lackey peeks out with the smoke, tries to bait out the defuse and gets punished with the A1S.
What a great recovery. I was wrong. They do have the firepower. They do have the manpower to win that round 13-11. And it may have come, the economic implications on Entropiq came just a round later with a clutch like this. Not enough money to sustain anything moving forward. That's so brutal for Entropiq after winning that upper rush just a round ago, now losing to a ramp rush, which they stopped. Tough times for the defense, and you can see taking another tactical timeout, talk things over to discuss. But they don't have a whole lot of options, at least in this round. Although Vince, they're buying, they're going for it.
Oof.
I mean, they don't. Like they were out of money, and they don't have much of a losing bonus, so it makes sense in that regard. You're going to double save no matter what, so you might as well buy one, save the next, and then you'll have the weapon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does feel kind of like a heads you win, tails I lose mentality here for Entropiq, but considering they just lost to effectively Tech9s, maybe they feel like they can return the favor. It's a completely different context, of course, because they're now on the static defensive side. It's not as easy to just push together in one location and hope for the best as Spirit did. But I tell you what, taking the head of Dexter off instantly as Elian with the scout, that's one hell of a way to put the right foot forward. That's the AWP also that gets sprung out. Heard the AWP shot rattle, but didn't even connect. And Mia and a whole bunch, a plethora of smokes has afforded them safe passage. I say safe, because Elian's actually connected another shot. It hasn't deterred Mia away from this, though. Flashes out. There's two players into the garage, and this could completely bait them into a false sense of security as they walk into the trap face first, and they get melted by Nickelback's Deagle.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That was baiting them. And that, I mean, I'm not going to say it was obvious, but I felt like there should have been some kind of concern about spamming like that with no concern. Remember, that was a play that those two Mir and Magics as well earlier kind of fluffed a little bit, whether they wanted to jump through or sit in the smoke. This time they both do the same thing. They just get baited into a crossfire. Well done from Entropiq.
And their prize now is the bomb. And very likely, the 12th round. Good shot by Nickelback again. He's not slowed down at all. Been on point this entire map. Grenade will find itself towards him. Not enough to finish him off. And Forrester on that fast flank takes down Chopper. Around the Entropiq called the tactical timeout for. They decided to force buy, and it's worked out perfectly.
It's going to be a round that's very frustrating for Team Spirit, but they got to put it aside for now. I mean, remember, this is the kill that opened things up. As soon as this kill comes out, you're probably not feeling great. But then you lose two players coming through smoke in Big Garage. If you're Spirit, you probably don't feel like you ever had like a realistic chance of winning that round, which kind of sucks when it's, 13-11 and you're up against a scout and pistols. Both these teams taking some unlikely rounds off of each other down the stretch.
Oh, Elian, very nice spray transfer. I was about to say, will it be another one? Because Mia was the only player that really invested heavily, had the Raid Boss AK, put it to good use. Magix has used this momentary chaos to push in, and his Deagle aim could not be truer. An AK traded up, and Elian stuck outside the wrong side of this position right now, in a really awkward position. Now, that could maybe work out for Entropiq and play to their favor, because he could wrap around the rotating Magix, and if Magic peeks out too overextended, that could be all she wrote. Done by Young, finalized by Forrester, but down into a 2-on-2, and now Dexter can safely plant for Heaven. 2-on-2 comes in, and the HP actually favors Spirit.
They're going to get Dexter into the hut. That's huge. He just walks right through the smoke. This is massive. He can either wrap around, he can stay inside of the hut. He's got the information as well. Magic's also changing his position, relocating. Remember, that bomb is planted in the back of the bomb site. They've got to be so careful. They can't win this. They actually both...
Is he sticking?
Yeah, they maneuvered themselves out of position. Both of them. And that's a head-scratching moment. This is... Man, that's back-to-back just crushing rounds if you're Spirit.
Man, when you think of how much they fought back with just one AK to get that down into a 2-on-2, that is such a lackluster end. Like, that just takes the wind out of your sails if you're Spirit. I mean, I suppose you can spin it in a positive way and say, well, we nearly won a round that we had no right to do so. We brought their economy down again. We've got AKs now, but it's hard to see it that way when you realize you could have just put yourself one giant step towards winning this map.
I was going to say, that's an explanation that only works if you win the game. If you don't win, no one gives a damn. Utility out. Ooh, that's Elian trying to make a play with a pop flash from a teammate. And Nickelback's going to find the edge of the smoke and backs away. Surely they check it this time. Identical play. Flashbang tags Mir, stops him cold. Miscues and mistakes are absolutely killing Spirit.
Man, what have I just witnessed? Like, that is so sloppy by Spirit, and what a time to bust out a play like that. The flash wasn't even close to landing on Nickelback. He can't believe his eyes. They light up. It's another freebie, and it feels like this is more a case of Spirit shooting themselves at the foot at this point. I don't want to take anything away from Entropiq. They've played this really well. Maybe they can still salvage this. Sun Young still having a lot of impact. Nickelback, try as he may, holds on and still retains most of his HP and goes back in for a fourth. Excellent round by him. But you go back to that with flashbang, and that was everything for Entropiq.
It would have been perfect. It just tagged Mir and just stopped. And I mean, this round, double kill from Nickelback in that position. You go back 2 rounds previous, double kill for Nickelback in that position with a Deagle. And then you go back to the round just before it, and a 2-on-2 clutch in which Team Spirit both moved themselves out of position to watch the bomb. So this has got to be devastating. I have to imagine the atmosphere in that TeamSpeak is nothing positive. It's nothing good.
Yeah, it has to be like a graveyard there right now after some of the rounds that we've seen. It's been a little bit grim, but we'll see if Spirit can just hold on again. See if they have that grit, that tenacity. Because they're still in with a shout here. Like, obviously the context is very poor because they probably should have already won this map. But it's not as if Entropiq are even on guaranteed OT status. 3 rounds in a row, Spirit still get it done. Got to get their eyes back on the prize here, get their mind back in this. Elian's given up outside control, goes back to the spawn to watch Heaven instead. Chopper with outside smokes to accompany him, starts to get more aggressive. And these Spirit are getting up close. The aggression from Crad will be met with Dexter's AWP, and that's a 2-player advantage already.
All right, find a way to lose, boys. This is a good position for Lackey and Nickelback. They got to hold the line. The bomb's still across this stack. STY is going to come help out. Nade in hand. Oh, there's the smoke down. Good kills. And Dexter's going to use the cover of smoke to just jump across. That puts Elian into play, who is so far back in CT spawn. It's going to take him a hot minute to hustle up towards heaven to be involved in this retake. Molotov and a flashbang. Again, tags a teammate, does absolutely nothing. Got to line it up again, but now they know where both positions of the players are. There it is. He's out. He's got a dink, but no kill. And this should be for Spirit. They've done it. They've successfully not shot themselves in the foot.
That will be a definite feels good. Elian doesn't even have a kit or anything if you wanted to try and go for a ninja. I don't think that's going to be coming up. And also, you just have a quick glance at the economy.
Yeah, it's
Entropiq, apart from Nickelback, they have terrible finances.
It's trash, isn't it?
So it's just the classics. We've seen this multiple times already.
It makes you kind of feel bad because you're just thinking, you know, you could go to the last 3 rounds before this one and pick like one massive mistake at each one of those rounds and just be like, if this stuff didn't happen, you know, if like you got like Spirits made this very, very difficult themselves. This is a map that they're gonna get done with this, whether they win or lose, and feel like they could have won this, you know, way earlier. There's no reason this has to be going to round 29. They could have won it in like round 27.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think this is the kind of game that both teams go back to the drawing board and they look over this demo multiple times and they come up with key areas and aspects that can be worked on for the future. Well, and now they just have to focus on finishing this off.
Yeah, and if you're Entropiq, this is the exact buy you had just 4 rounds ago or so that you won. The double kill from Nickelback inside of the big garage, the scout headshot from Elion on to Dexter on top of Silo. This is a very, very similar buy you had. And I mean, asking to win one of those to stay in a game is tough. Asking to win 2 of those to stay in a game is very, very difficult. So we'll see if they've got another one in them.
Well, last time it was Elian that kicked off the round with a scout headshot onto Silo, and it was Dexter that was on the receiving end of that, so we'll see if history repeats itself. Dexter's going up to that location, and he does have the AWP again, so it is possible that lightning will strike twice. But no scout shots in the distance have been heard as of yet. They're bypassing each other. Some aggression through ramp as well from Entropiq, but already a lot of outside is falling under the way of the T's, and it doesn't seem like Entropiq are that interested in trying to fight for this. Both the cross smokes have connected, and Elian has to just back away and start to head towards ramp. I'd imagine he might very well just go to the B site here.
Very slow paced. Down secret we go. 14-14 in this opening map. I don't think Entropiq realizes that they're downstairs just yet. I haven't seen anyone rotate. Forrester in the hut. 1 player in the site. Lackey's just getting down here with the Deagle. Nickelback and Elian still kind of keeping an eye on ramp room. So really it's only this 1 Deagle to hold on. Options are available. Spirit can attack wherever, but they're still kind of spread. No cohesive thought just yet. Actually, lower bomb site, they seem pretty much dedicated to it. The bomb could go right up the vents, but there's 17 seconds, and Spirit hasn't forced the issue or made contact just yet. There's the kill. Forrester had just turned inside hut. And man, they find the entrance into the bomb site. They find the plant just at the perfect moment, but that was risky for Spirit.
Ooh, I think Dexter just got a 2-for-1 there. Nickelback and Elian lined up for each other, but I absolutely echo that. That was incredibly close, and all it would have took was for one of those trades to go in the opposite direction, and time may have ended that round. We have already seen Spirit run into that trap multiple times already here in regulation, but now going through into the last round, round 30, and Entropiq have another very, very rough purchase. Indeed, it was a 2-for-1 down on Squeaky. It's almost an identical buy. Will we see a very slow round again, or will Spirit pick up the pace?
Well, I got your answer. Keeping it slow. Slow and simple. Some footsteps being made in towards the lobby. No utility thrown out quite yet from Team Spirit. All 5 smokes still available, 4 Molotovs still available. They're looking for any aggression from the CT side, knowing again it's going to be a labored buy. They're looking for some kind of a lobby crunch. They're being cautious about it before moving into position. Just now, a smoke wall goes up outside, but it's only Mir who's going to utilize it. And he's being as noisy as possible running along till he gets to the top of the stairs.
Which in itself may very well give Entropiq a good idea as to what's going to be coming up here. Now, the shot did connect. Grenade up and over, finishes off Magix, but does a ton of damage to Dexter and Chopper as well. It's another very slow attempt. There's 2 players now in ramp that are playing in tandem. Spirit need entries. It's being smoked and choked out in each of these bottlenecks. And even if they do push through onto the site successfully, there's a fast rotation element. There's another smoke. Big entry from Dexter. What is it? Too little, too late. They're going to go in for the vent dive. Krad has the right idea. Elian downstairs finishes off Mia. And Entropiq look like they may have done it again. It's down to Sundar. Young and he gets picked off instantly. How do they keep losing to these buys?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, again, Spirit just kind of hoping they're giving a gift. It feels like towards the end of there, they were waiting for some kind of a mistake, begging Entropiq to make the mistake so that they didn't have to be the one to take initiative, and it just kind of fails. It just kind of peters out, and yeah, it feels a little bit dissatisfying. All tied up. Great recovery for Entropiq. In a way, a few miraculous rounds won by them towards the end, but we'll take them.
So into OT, we will transfer. I'm very surprised that Spirit weren't a bit more aggressive. We didn't really see them. I'm trying to remember here, Jason, if we saw any fast A hits that entire half. Did they go in for any? Because I don't remember a single time, even in like pistol or force buys with Tech 9s or anything, where they actually like picked up the pace and hit A fast.
I'm trying to think. You know, I feel like there had to have been at least one round. Maybe try to mini split. Yeah, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you with accuracy, Vince. 15 rounds is a long time these days.
Yeah, indeed. I suppose that in itself is an idea, though, that we didn't see too many aggressive rounds, and maybe especially towards the end. I can understand, like, there's a part of me that definitely understands that you may anticipate that maybe Entropiq, that's the round when they try a lobby crunch, they try something really aggressive. And so sitting back and waiting is maybe just your golden ticket punched into taking a 1-0. It's easy, like in hindsight, that's never a great sign seeing the players step up and walk away from the computers.
There was a
it is what it is. It's 15-15. They just got to reset now mentally.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's some typing in the chat, but it's in Russian or something that I can't read. Let's just go with that one. So yeah, a little bit of a break here, a little bit of a breather to talk things over, a little bit of time for Spirit to sit there and stew and be upset about some of the drop balls towards the end of that game. But look, we were expecting to come in and have some very close matchups in the CIS RMR today, Vince, and we're getting them from the first series today. You know, 2 extremely close maps and 1 blowout, and now we're starting the series off with a nice overtime.
Apparently, it's Spirit that are having some issues at the moment, so hopefully they will be resolved very shortly. But yes, we've had some very, very close games. This is the match that I thought would actually be way closer than the initial one. This is pretty much par for the course. First match definitely wasn't anticipating to be that close up until Dust 2. You can see there as well that the kill spread has basically stayed the same, incredibly close over on the side of Spirit. Anything but for Entropiq, it's very top heavy, so we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, for those of you who may have missed the opening match of the day, it was Gambit versus Nemiga. If you're just tuning in now, that was a 2-1 victory for Gambit, as Nemiga took Inferno the first map 16-14, lost Vertigo in overtime, and then got absolutely trounced on Dust 2 by Gambit, who bounced back. That led us here to Spirit and Entropiq second series, which is just paused due to some technical difficulties. Yeah, kill spread on Spirit still quite nice together. Nickelback on the Entropiq side, 29 kills. Elian, 25 kills with that AWP. And I don't know, it's not even necessarily the amount of kills. it's having to win like 2 Deagle rounds, 4 Deagles and a scout down the stretch of this game to stay in it, to even force it into overtime. You know, Entropiq did a very good job staying alive in some tough positions, and they did a lot of it with pretty crappy economy. You know, the money in the last like 4 or 5 rounds of this half for Entropiq was in a very bad position. So they delivered very, very well when they needed it.
Oh yeah, you can't take anything away at all from Entropiq and them digging deep and managing to somehow salvage rounds that looked almost unwinnable. But I think there's 2 sides to every tale, and the other one is that Spirit probably weren't clinical enough. You know, we saw some mistakes, that pop flash into Garage where it bounces off the back of, I believe it was me, and Nickelback just cleans up the round. The constant 10 second left in the round where Spirit just looked like they were taking it too slowly and eventually got punished for it. So I think on one hand, Entropiq definitely performing very well, but on the other, Spirit, I think, considering that they were 10-5 going into that second half, they'll feel like they really let this one slip out their hands.
Yeah, it was, yeah, there were some opportunities there that I think Spirit slipped up that they're going to look back at this replay and not be super happy about. So they'll have to fix those for sure. But I mean, also, we knew coming into this that Spirit was going to be a little bit, I don't want to say like rusty or anything like that, but you know, Nuke is not a map that we kind of associate and say this is a map that they're going to be great on, they're going to be dominant on. We knew Entropiq was going to pick this and feel good about it. So, yeah, tough time for Spirit, and we're starting to see some of those weaknesses that hasn't allowed Nuke to be a great map for them. Now, if you are interested in upsets, Vince, I don't know if you are. On the other stream, there are 2 streams going out of this RMR. The other one is StarLadder _CS _EN2. We have Virtus Pro playing against the 100 Ping Gods. The 100 Ping Gods have taken map 1, and they are now 1 round up on map 2 of Inferno, 9-8. So upset watch there, but we are live into overtime just now. So stay tuned here instead.
We most certainly are, and Crad has got the opening pick of the OT. Now keep in mind, 20 out of the 30 regulation rounds did go to the CT side, so they're going to be worth a whole bunch, these T rounds. Did feel like maybe Spirit at times were running out of ideas. Maybe that's that rustiness, maybe not having as much experience playing officials on this map, but Mia is making the most of it, starting to push through towards Garage. This is typically where Nickelback has had a lot of impact over the duration of this game, which is why he's checking all these angles so carefully, realizing now that Garage is vacant, it is open. Nickelback's actually playing on the main side instead, watching outside.
Run boost across the gap. Nets them nothing. 2 players in the upper bomb site and 1 in mini for this defense. And Spirit in a 4-on-5 is going to drop down towards Secret Scares. Dexter's hoping he can find someone peek outside, a little bit lazy, a little bit too long that he could pick him off, but he gets nothing. So to the lower bomb site we go, where Lackey is playing behind the silos up on the rafters, but he's the only one.
Time again incredibly low. Been a reoccurring theme for Spirit. As control room now being aggressed on, but they get the entry when it really counts. They seem to be able to just get the winning formula. Dexter now watching the close angle of Decon, heard a lot of footsteps down on the vent, flashed out twice, just has to hold this narrow angle, can fall back, he's done enough. That's surely the round that comes with him. Goes back in, doubles up, Magix has the cross for the doorway, and it is a complete cut-off point now for Entropiq. Nice effort and looked good when they got the opening pick, but after that, Spirit, they managed to just land the shots where it really counted.
Yeah, Entropiq giving up a lot of space there. I mean, maybe they had a read. Maybe they were very, very confident it was going to be an upper hit. But, I mean, you have 1 player in the lower bomb, so your only defender who's just hiding behind a silo. That means all of walking down Secret is open. All of, of Decon is open. All of control side is open, and you never have any information. You keep that stack there for the entire round, and Team Spirit's able to crush it. Double op setup now. Lackey and Elian with those for the defense. 1 in ramp room and 1 outside.
No prizes for guessing the current pace of the round from Spirit. It's another slow one. It has been their tried and tested. They're old faithful. It's had mixed results, but you can't argue with the first round of overtime. Doesn't matter how smooth or how shaky the rounds are, wins are wins. And they desperately need some more. Magic's pushing outside. There is a slight gap in that smoke, though, and Alien's going to make the most of it. What a shot onto Mia. Even with a flash coming out, still threads the eye of the needle, takes him down, and gives them the advantage again. But they did concede from a very similar position last round.
Yeah, but surely they're not going to get 2 rounds of just being able to be entirely silent and walking all the way to the lower bomb site. This time they don't have access to secret either. It's Magix who's going to have to lurk outside. And no one from Entropiq is moving, just Jiggle peeks. One op downstairs, they don't feel the need to support. One op in ramp room, leaves 3 rifles for the upper bomb site. Crad and Forrester and Nickelback, all 3 ring out in sequence, and that's a round win for Entropiq.
Feels telegraphed at this point how slow Spirit are playing. Like Entropiq, they're not overextending, as you said. They're just jiggle peeking. Once it gets down to 30-40 seconds, they have the player advantage. They know that Spirit aren't really going to explode out onto a site, so they don't have to respect that as being a possibility. And so you push into a bottleneck, a claustrophobic angle like this, it's going to be easy pickings for Entropiq here for Spirit. And I'm so confused that we have not seen them seemingly mix up the pace more than maybe once this entire map.
Well, Spirit's lost the opening duel both rounds in overtime. Let's see if they can actually start with the upper hand at least once. Again, lined up as if it's going to be an upper hit. And it's not the fast-paced hit that you wanted, Vince, but last time we saw this didn't work all that well. This time it's great. Forrester caught out. There's the opening kill. Crad just hoping nobody checks him, hoping nobody clears this position. And oh, I think Magic thinks he did. 1-for-1 trade. Nickelback still in mini as well, but he's going to back off.
They got that explosive fast hit. It was a bit delayed, but they eventually pulled the trigger and they've got the results. They speak for themselves. Again, CP rounds were so much more forthcoming in regulation. The value of these T rounds is huge, and it's possible that Spirit will have 2 of them going through into the second half of OT. But Lackey is still alive, as is Elian. Both AWPs for the retake, though, by no means the desired weaponry for a retake scenario. And that's why no automatic fire. You can't quickly dart between targets. It's a target-rich environment, but it's Spirit that come out ahead, going through 17-16, just 2 rounds shy of securing the map.
Yeah, not too shabby from Spirit. This time, the upper hit is much, much cleaner. I think the previous time we saw that tactic, Forrester was playing up close to the hut door. He was able to get a double kill, able to dodge the flashes, and the hit just fell flat. This time, they turned the corner, rip his head off, and the whole bomb site's open from there. 17-16. Magic number is 19, and we'll see if Spirit can close it out. AWP on Dexter. AWP on Elion as well on the other side of the map.
Smoke wall being tossed out again very quickly. Entropiq definitely had a more aggressive T-half, but to mixed results. Spirit at one point let things slip once the rifles were in play. And then they managed to find the formula and come out with a lot of success at the end. Didn't realize that he could get wide swung there, and he's just given his life away. That's the bomb that's been dropped down, though, by Dexter, but it is retrievable and salvaged. The flash into Elben for the peak, but Mia's already moving downstairs with Magix, although he is very low at 11 HP.
Oh, double nade, not going to complete the kill and gives up numbers. Forrester's going to open the door on contact. There's the flashbang, 1 kill, traded immediately. Traded back as well into a 2-on-2. Oh, and 1 more on control side. It's a slow peek around the corner, 1-on-1 now, SDY. He's going to move into the bomb site. Flashbang off, it's against the AWP. And Elion has been pretty damn accurate to close it out. 17-17, we're all tied up.
Some really nice avenging frags, though. I like that maneuverability from Magix and Sundai Young, making sure they stuck together. get that hit squad, the tag team in effect, but ultimately those early casualties just proved to be a bridge too far. Nice shot from Elliot. Keep in mind, he started off very slow. He's now on 28 kills. Had a real turnaround in this game.
It's not even the shot,
As
it
he
was the
said.
peak that was a little bit nasty, wasn't it? Sees the elbow, ducks underneath it, and just pops up like a gopher.
Oh my god. Well, carpet bomb some Young. Have fun on the bench.
Those nades are brutal for that silo position and a cheeky way to find an opening kill in overtime. I haven't seen them even attempt that nade stack at all throughout this game, so likely catching SDY unawares, falling into some habits. And Entropiq's able to get the advantage. Now, this position from the op is so difficult to deal with as well. Dexter could very easily find an equalizing kill here in lobby.
Curly just needs his teammate to hold positions, and there it is. Kill for Dexter. Magix holds on to the site. Big frag from Mia. Tries to pivot in for two, but it's really Magix that cleans up. And although both remaining CTs are low, Nickelback's position is known. This is an untenable clutch for most players, but maybe Nickelback will be the man as he isolates the two players from one another. Dexter is up on the block. This gives him no room for maneuverability. If he misses his shot, he's done. And Nickelback is starting to rummage around the backside. There's a smoke down, but that will clear shortly. He's pushing through. Has a good idea at this point. It's the Dexter's current position and clutches it out. Nickelback with the 1v2 and Entropiq with a map point.
That is a weird, weird situation to have been in. That's a tough 1v2 to win, but what a delivery. I have to think that Dexter was just asking the whole time, is the door open? Is the door open? Not having the timing on the smoke, most likely. Not knowing if the door was going to give a sound cue of him wrapping around. That is a tough loss. 18-17. And it's Spirit now with a very, very bad CT economy trying to scramble and fight for overtime. Entropiq had to do it multiple times during regulation. Now it's Spirit's turn to see if they can win with a scrappy bye.
It's going to be such a bitter pill to swallow should they concede this Spirit, knowing that this map should have been done a good 10 or 15 minutes ago at least. And yet here we sit. A chance at second overtime is best case scenario. Mag 7 up on the hut, waiting and hoping that Forrester peeks in. No reason to do so, though, for Forrester. This is a good look position if they get outside control. Can do a lot with this spot. And now Nade's starting to be tossed in. Smoke and the underarm will be stalling out the push for the time being. And they're going to get aggressive in hut as well. Magix is already pushing in. Meanwhile, Chopper is looking for that lobby crunch. And he could get a little bit of success here. The timing for Magix is good. Crad caught with a grenade out. Wouldn't you know it? The Pura Bite is coming out and prevailing again. 5v3.
Yeah, I don't think Entropiq thought in a million years that Team Spirit would be getting aggressive in this round whatsoever. That is a well-executed lobby crunch. Not even really a full crunch. They just kind of get their fights and they back away. They're completely happy and content with the two-man advantage, obviously. It's a rough place for a shotgun to be. And they're going to drop down the vents. But there's players down there. There's players ready and waiting. Dexter misses a shot with the scout, but Chopper, he chimes in with the SMG. Elian with the double kill. Nickelback's going to go down, and there's only 5 seconds left. They can run away. Round is 1. We're going to double overtime.
So Entropiq have now let a map point slip through their fingers. Somehow, some way, this game continues to go full steam ahead. Team Spirit keeping the dream alive. Dust 2 up next. Again, a lot of importance placed on this map of Nuke, and it's anybody's game at this stage. Now, they will be continuing on the CT side. CT sides have fared very much better, especially on Spirit, I would say. I'm very curious when they go through into that T-half if the pace will be mixed up or not. In terms of the spawns, no great spawn for the AWPer, so probably like a default play coming out here for Spirit, I'd imagine. But yeah, game is well and truly back on.
Bit of a reset for both teams as everyone's got healthy economy now. Not a whole lot of outside presence. Towards ramp room we go. Elian, Krad, and Nickelback. Oh, and Chopper, as the smoke clears, gets his head ripped off. They've lost ramp room, and there's not a whole lot of time to close the gap in the defense, and there's so many players in the upper bomb site and outside that I don't even think they realize who was the one that was supposed to drop. Thankfully, Entropiq isn't picking up the pace, and Mir's able to find an equalizer outside.
Dexter rattled in for a second. That player advantage has quickly evaporated and actually got a lot worse. Bomb's been dropped and spilled by Magix with the blood of Nickelback alongside it. And now Krad and Elian, who are separated from one another outside and hut respectively, have to try and bridge the gap. And Dexter, he picks up another one. Elian has to move over and main and may get the drop onto Magix, but instead he gets splattered and Spirit claim the first round of our second OT.
They had to have known Elian was outside that whole time, or at least the possibility was there. They had two players between Dexter and the vet player keeping an eye on it that whole time. That was such a beautiful shot. I can't even believe it. Quick flick.
That's what Elian brings to the table. Now, that's a mouth-watering prospect on Dust 2 him up against Dexter, I'll tell you that much. Although Mia getting close outside behind the box, it's not really a position we've seen him play just yet. They do check it, but it's almost half-heartedly. He doesn't get more than one, which is good news for the T's, but that grenade could do a little bit of damage on the approach, but they actually bypass it by playing aggressively. So 1 for 1, but we saw Spirit come back from a player deficit, losing Chopper early in the last round to reign successful. Magic's an off angle. Forrester is typically played in this spot, but Krad checks this angle and takes him out.
All right, Chopper. What have you got coming up the vents? He's waiting for his teammates to get in position. Double up. They want to retake in this upper bomb site. It's not easy. Pulls out the 5-7 instead. They've got plenty of utility, but not a whole lot of great ways to put it into play, put it into action. And here we go. Chopper's just going to have to take the risk. Flashbang comes in. Got the kill. Op is out in hand. Oh, he's got the follow-up as well. It's looking good. Krad and Nickelback remain. And Nickelback has been delivering all day long, but not here. Not this time. And Spirit's got 20.
Man, that flash for Chopper on the vent was so huge, but that second kill he picked up is disgusting. And that's going to be such a brutal body blow, a gut punch for Entropiq. That had to be their round, and think of the importance and what's at stake right now. But this pop flash absolutely wrecked Elian, but it's this kill here that gives them a golden opportunity. Exquisite stuff right by Chopper, and he's not necessarily one of the players that you look at to have the huge performances game in game out with some of the people he's playing with, but now and again you'll just get something special from him.
Yeah, and that was special. I mean, 5-7 to the op for a kill, back to the 5-7 for a third kill on such a tough retake. That's well done. And now he's put his team in a chance to be able to potentially close this out. Last round of the first half of OT. Looking to make the second half much, much easier. 4 players for Entropiq down at Secret Stairs, and that's Mir, who's going to be playing at a headshot angle.
Oof. Manages to bypass any damage. I mean, when the AK comes up against the A1S at that kind of a range, you're expecting the AK to prevail, so that stalemate probably favors the CTs. Mia tosses the grenade. I think he was trying to blow the door up, but it hit the wall and effectively did nothing in the process, and that's why, because Chopper was coming down with the AWP.
Yep.
That would have gave him a narrow passage of an angle to look through into peer with, which would have given them information. And now that information isn't forthcoming, they're not entirely sure if they should be sending more players down or effectively keeping them where they stand. 30 seconds, though. Still on the clock. Chopper can just hold this angle. 3B of a frag can stay alive, anticipating the emerging players to come out, and his AWP is on fire right now. He's got that sidearm with the 5-7 that did so much damage in the previous round, but he's just staying alive. Another frag, this time from Dexter, falls upon Forrester. It may be a clean sweep first half in this second OT, and that would bode very well indeed for Spirit. Forrester with a constellation kill at best, you have to feel, and he just gets nullified instantly. 3 chances again here, Moses, for Spirit to take us to Dust 2 at 1-0 in the lead.
Yeah, and boy, would they love those opportunities. We'll see how they decide to play this second half. They've been slow and measured throughout regulation and first OT. They've had a couple rounds where they switch up the pace. I would be interested to see if they go back to it for at least one round, just to see if you can deliver a swift win. Either way, Entropiq is staring up the mountain at the moment and not liking what they see. 3 rounds straight to get to a third overtime is what they need to do. And it's not an impossible task. Dexter going to grab an angle towards door. And a pretty standard opening for Team Spirit, aligned more towards the inner portions of the map. No one out towards the yard. No wall set up quite yet, but they can easily adjust if they'd like to.
Well, it's certainly not impossible that Entropiq could guide us into a third OT. I think Spirit's T sides have been a little bit lackluster for the most part that we've seen. There is a duel taking place. Chopper hears the bullet whiz over his head from Elian's AWP and thinks better about re-peeking, but now they're hearing Elian fall back and take shot through the smoke, they'll feel a little bit more confident and comfortable to re-emerge. However, no idea as to where Spirit currently are, but they've already moved a couple players downstairs. Dexter shoots off, tags Elian down to 3, and then gets fragged. That is so unfortunate for Dexter in particular.
Ooh, good kill from Nickelback as well. And all of a sudden, Team Spirit, again, just trying to slowly walk and creep along the map. I've lost a lot of players for it. 2 players down low, Chopper's outside. And it almost feels like Chopper has to make his play before Magix and Mir. Window's going to be broken over control side downstairs. Chopper still trying to flank towards ramp room. They need to wait for him, but there's no time for it. It's just too slow paced again. Finally, he springs into action, but the round's already over. It's going to be a 19th round for Entropiq with relative ease.
Bit of deja vu falling in. As much as I wish that 163.7 ADR was accurate, I'm pretty sure that's for the OT rounds. Because that would be wild if we're moving through into like the 41st round, the Nickelback was averaging 163 ADR.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be one of the best performances we've ever seen.
Yeah, shout out to World Edit.
Here we go again. Another chance, another crack at Spirit to get us across the finish line. Nickelback's already taken significant damage. Didn't quite catch what happened there. I assume maybe a HE was tossed in. He is playing in that main position, trying to bypass and block some of these smokes. Won't be happening. Incendiary tossed down. Mia pushes through that smoke, and Elian, in the same kind of angle he's playing in before, very nearly connects that shot. That'd have been huge. Nickelback then goes for the spray, and Magix is dropped down to an incredibly low 11 HP.
Where do you go? You got control. What's next? Oh, they got a run boost over it. Don't mess it up. Elliot is... Oh, I think he spotted it right at the end. Maybe not. Looking for the shot. Oh, and now they might just be past his crosshair, but this is a smart reposition. Overexposed to the right, but he's trying to find that exact battle, and he's got it. Again, opening kill goes towards Entropiq. Upper bomb site, though, this is quicker. This is before 15 seconds left in the round, so Spirit have changed the pace. And they're still losing too many players, and in fact, they're losing all the players. One more chance for Spirit to break this up.
One more chance.
I don't know. These rounds just, I don't know. They feel like... I'm not sure. These hits that Spirit have had in some of these T rounds as we got towards the end of regulation and overtime and now double overtime, they don't really feel like they have a whole lot of power behind them.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really strike confidence in you watching this from Spirit. It feels like it's going to take a mistake from Entropiq more so than Spirit making a really great read or a huge moment. They're just being slowly choked out of these rounds, and I mean, this is going to be a huge knock to the confidence if you have 3 map points again on the T side and you're unable to actually get across the finish line. Now, they may be able to get it done here, albeit with 2 Deagles. They took a lot of damage on Tamir as well, but they've actually pushed down Secret very quickly. So they've mixed up the pace again, different avenue of aggression. Elian missing out on that shot could prove fatal, especially as it allows them to bypass and go in, but Nickelback stay with 3! They line up and he knocks them all down, and that should be the round falling into position.
That's going to be triple overtime as well. Chopper and a 1 versus 5. It's the first kill, not aware of the second player. Nickelback ends the round with 4 kills, and he's hyped up. 39 kills, knocking on the door of 40. And here we go. Line it up again.
Well then, every strat, everything that's up your sleeve at this point, you assume has been used. We did see a really interesting triple nade stack brought out, and I believe it was the start of the second OT that killed some Die Young. Maybe there's a couple more moments of inspiration that we'll see fall into shape. But I mean, simply put, Spirit, they've let so many map points slip by. Entropiq have let one as well. To be fair, they had a chance to finish this off in first overtime. Didn't happen for them.
No, but when you think
pressured outside.
Ooh. Yeah, excuse me, Vince. Elian, another kill for him. Sequences that together very well. 4 on 3 and a change of pace, which we like to see from Spirit, and Elian's going to get caught off guard. Now they can slow it down. Now they have gaps in this defense, and now they can creep around and be sneaky if they want to.
So one of the last 2 components has been spotted. That's Lackey, who's down in lockers. What does Spirit do with that information? Because he will quickly bypass back towards ramp if he's given the opportunity. And Krad's already made moves, but some Die Young dissolves and impairs Lackey. Will be flanked from Krad if he's not careful. But surely, Spirit will get their first T round in what will feel like forever. And indeed they do.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a change of pace. And that one, they make Entropiq move, and they cause some chaos early on, and they're able to come out on top of it, even with that kill. Some good trades. And it's not that changing pace is necessarily the answer, but it is just more aggressive and assertive fighting around the map, rather than kind of walking into a position and hoping Entropiq's going to be there or make a mistake. 1 round lead for Spirit. That could have been the winning recipe in the previous half of overtime. Molotov in towards Mini from SDY. And they're going to line up for a wall early on. 2 players in lobby, the bomb as well. Smoke wall outside could just be a fake.
That's a good point. That's one that Entropiq will have to mull over as well. They can't fully commit behind that smoke. And it is looking like a fake. There's 4 players actually maneuvering in, and it's good news for Entropiq. I was about to say that Elian's holding position, but just as he moves, they decide to pull the trigger and get aggressive. And he has to flash and smoke himself back to Sanctuary of Ramp, but that gives up ramp control. And from ramp, you can control hell, heaven potentially, and that will force Entropiq into some awkward re-engagements.
That's a good call from Elian, though. He could have stuck around and gone for that kill. Could have swung out a little bit wider and tried to just grab at least one. But this is the smarter play. This is the higher percentage play. Mir's going to lurk outside, looking for anyone to come up secret or go and try and clear big warehouse. 4 players in ramp room. Yeah, you got ramp. That's great. Now try and get into the lower bomb site, and there's the lurk. That's going to pull everyone away. Now the lower bomb site is obscenely easy to take control of.
Just got a whole lot easier as well. Mia dices and clobbers Forrester. Nice timing on that peak, but it's a 1-4 trade that won't be good enough. They need to come out cleanly here. Lackey pivots into the site, but there is some Die Young. He subdues and disintegrates any possibility of a retake. And we're actually seeing Spirit now looking sharp on their T side. And surprise, surprise, they're mixing up the pace and they're getting rewards.
Yeah, they're waiting to slow things down before they gain control and force some movement out of the defense, which has been way more efficient. Some good kills by Mir as well, and obviously a great entrance into the ramp room, assisted by some unfortunate timing for Elian, pulling a nade out instead of the AWP. Door's going to be blown open again. Molotov in towards Mini. time Mir is going to be way more aggressive outside, already ready to swing and take a fight towards the lockers. Sees nothing. 4 other players in lobby as well. There it is, spots Elian, spots the scout, gets the hell out of there. But Magix has found a kill, and Mir's added on top of it, and it's getting bad to worse for Entropiq. 4 on 2, and it looks like Spirit, as weird and as uncomfortable as we've been at times watching this T side on Nuke today, they're about to have a 3-0 half in overtime, in triple overtime on their T side of Nuke. That's going to make things much, much easier as they switch over to defense.
Absolutely. They got a clean sweep on their CT side last time. They were able to pick up a single T round. We'll see if the same happens again here. It's very unlikely, though. I think if I'm Entropiq right now, I'm fearing the worst. Because Spirit have looked sharp on their CT sides more often than not. So we'll see if there's any kind of shenanigans or if Entropiq tried to go for some aggression here. They have definitely been more capable of pushing the pace earlier on. 4 players lining up towards outside. Wall of smoke's going to get tossed in. And again, this is really where players have to show their composure. Molotov's down to try and block some of those smokes. Has been somewhat successful, but they're still going to bypass that. Nickelback's been wrecked, though. 12 HP as he limps downstairs. And he's been finished off by Dexter. A real chance now for Spirit to get this map done.
Yeah, otherwise they're just kind of slowly limping up down secret behind that fast-paced play from Nickelback. Awkward for Dexter, down to 7 HP now. He's got to back away. SDY on the other side of this smoke. 2 players from Entropiq waiting for him also. And it looks like Entropiq want to reconsider a different point of attack.
They dipped their toe in the water. They decided it was too cold. They want to go to warmer pastures, and they feel like that's the B site. Molotov banked off the wall, forces some by Young, but he takes aggression instead. They did not anticipate that whatsoever. I think they also just whiffed the Molotov. They mollied themselves in panic, sheer panic as they got peaked, but Forrester, elsewhere on the lurk as he's played so often, does get the drop. There's another frag. Magix has now been spilled down. And they go from a 2-player disadvantage to suddenly a player to the good. Mia gets double peaked and Froster's picked up his 3rd. It's down to Dexter with a measly 7 HP. Both remaining Ts are also weakened. Does he pull out the sidearm, though? Is the call coming through, or does he just keep his AWP out? Whichever way you look at it, though, he has no kit. And surely Entropiq lock this one down. And it's all down to Forrester. His late lurk flank from Squeaky was so sublime. It's given them every chance. And it's fitting that he picks up the last frag of the round. A huge 4K.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Thank your lucky stars if you're Entropiq, you got Forrester on the team because he wins this round single-handedly. You not only had nothing going for you downstairs, you messed up that hit in a massive way that caused all the problems. Forrester just bails you out. Still, they don't even necessarily do anything wrong, Team Spirit, but you got to get the feeling that it's like, what can they do now? Every time they have a chance to close out the map, take a big lead. They've stubbed their toe 4 or 5 times and dropped all their advantages. This is weird. SDY aggressive in towards lobby, and Forrester's just unkillable at the moment. Finally gets picked off.
0 hero for Forrester. But with his life, they are trying to get round the back of lobby. But this flank, I think it's Magix that's pushing through lobby right now, is basically just going to do nothing. The only thing it gives is information so they can stack 2 players downstairs. But he's a long way away from the action. And now Dexter's moved in. So I say it's done nothing, but actually it's afforded them to stack the site. But Elian still comes out ahead of Dexter. Chopper's biding his time and waiting for as many players to show their hand as possible. There's one. Stop the initial play. And a second through the smoke. Looking for more, doesn't find it. Nickelback is clumped up. Alongside Crad, they try and stick the plant, decide better of it. Another clean trade. 1 for 1 with Nickelback up against Magix. Closing the door. Magix can now just play the time. Just needs to listen for that bomb plant. Doesn't have to show his hand. Now, it could be that Nickelback is scurried away up onto the ramp, trying to hit A-site after all. But Magix has to trust his gut feeling, and his gut is telling him to stay down here on control. Nickelback's edging his way up. The timing so nearly works in Magic's favor, but enough time has elapsed now where he's not entirely sure as to Nickelback's current stature. With this tickle bomb, now he knows. He's waiting, biding his time, and Nickelback still takes his head. That was Magic's chance, and it's 1 HP to Nickelback separates the two of them.
What an incredible plant spot for Nickelback. In that corner where you've got the time to get off of it, you've got the time to go deeper into the corner and pull your gun out. And oh dear, Spirit again just can't close this game out. 24-23 in third overtime.
No, lobby crunch. But the lobby crunch has been bypassed. It's outside again. Forrester would have heard those footsteps, can call out to his teammates to just press the aggression, push as fast as possible downstairs. But if they were to do so, with Spirit being so fast on that rotation, they could have walked into a trap. So they realized it. And they're slowing things down, and Forrester finds Magix, who's pushed all the way up to top of T spawn. So they get the advantage again.
Now that seems like desperation. And what are you supposed to do? 3 SMGs. The only M4 you have is downstairs. You've got to start trying to collapse outside. As Entropiq is just wrapping their way. Chopper playing in lockers with that SMG. Oh, he's got one. He wants a second. He's going to let the first pass entirely. That's the bomb. He wants more. He wants them both. And there's the first one far away, but the SMG can't convert. Dropping down is Dexter. Now he's got the AK as well. It's so dicey. Bomb is down. Molotov to buy time as well. SCY's out of the fight. Another smoke to make this real difficult. And Entropiq is feeling all this pressure. And the bomb somehow gets picked up without Dexter seeing it. But where do you go? How do you know what's happening?
They're going on to Ace. Some Young's hiding in the hut. There's only 23 seconds left. They need to try and deal with him. Lucky's going around the corner. He's getting baited out here, some Young. And there is no help at all. Dexter's now pushing onto the site, but it's over the ruins of all his scattered teammates. Could it be that Spirit have let a 3-0 T side slip and now a 3-0 CT side slip? Elian, big frag onto Dexter, and Mia does pick up the first, but there's 2 more, and Elian takes him out the equation. Entropiq refused to lose.
I'm so surprised when all that chaos is happening under the ladder at Heaven, nothing else is happening on the other side of the map. Like there's the bomb is down, players are fighting, smokes and Molotovs. I think it was Dexter seeing 2 players there at the very least. And I mean, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of movement happening on the other side of the map to get involved in action or to cut them off from falling back to a new point on the map whatsoever. And yeah, more of the same of what we saw in regulation. Spirit having themselves in great positions and finding a way to lose.
I wonder what kind of impact that has on their mentality, knowing that, okay, you let a 3-0 T side slip. It sucks, but okay, but a CT side slip? Like, I wonder how you can justify that if you are Team Spirit right now, and how many of the players are getting affected by that. Obviously, consummate professionals, so they've been in similar situations before, but they are only human at the end of the day. This has to have a toll on you.
Yeah, it's got to be stressful. It's got to be extremely stressful, especially when it's happening, 4 or 5 times in a game in one map. But now, I mean, at least their stress has taken the form of just relentless aggression. We've seen them do a lobby crunch out of CT spawn. We see now the push outside. Unfortunate Chopper can't get a kill there. Flashbang comes in. Dexter can't pick a target, and he's got to back away.
I back that ramp control. That's a big kill from me. That grenade can actually finish off the weak Nickelback, but he doesn't push in too aggressively. And some Young decides to close the door, interestingly. Wants to play behind this, maybe so he can be that jack in the box and try and explode out and take one of these players with him. But the bomb has successfully been planted down. Nickelback low, Crad low is alongside Dexter. 6 players remain. With the bloodshed, the carnage is about to ensure that maybe Entropiq can get themselves in the lead one more time. Some Die Young coming out. His teammates fragged, and Crowd is there to help out Elliot. Entropiq do take first blood in our 4th OT.
All right. 4 rounds on the T side straight for Entropiq. Starting to really run this over. And that's even with an opening kill. That's even with someone from Spirit rushing outside and getting a kill on T roof in the first 20 seconds of the round. Still able to make it happen. So yeah, 4th overtime, we're going to start getting real scrappy. We're going deep into the playbook. In fact, sometimes probably the playbook's going to be entirely thrown out. We're going deep into insanity. Lackey outside, 4 players in lobby.
I mean, my brain's melting, so I can't imagine what the players are going through right about now. Just gonna try and somehow dig deep and find that layer of focus and concentration. It really does become a battle of mental toughness at this stage. Getting that stamina in effect. These players have been going around the block a fair amount today. Entropiq, of course, have already played a best of 3. Mir in the meanwhile, though, getting aggressive outside. Incendiary tossed out. Some Die Young up close. He actually delves down vents. They may have bit down too hard on this outside control. They haven't rotated too many players off, to be fair. It's mainly only Some Die Young that's made moves downstairs. It does put more pressure on Magix. 50 seconds, smoking off and molotoving all the positions. Flashes coming through as well. Magix, how well can you hold the line? You are basically the only line of defense they have to A, but they've actually bypassed him. They've dropped downstairs, and this is where Some Die Young's over-rotation could very well work out for them. The spray from Chopper only yields the 1 frag, but meanwhile, Some Die Young goes in as well. Dexter's moved in. Next casualty is Crad. Looking good for Spirit all of a sudden with 25 seconds left. They have lost another player. Elliot out of position in ramp with his Tech 9 and his AWP. Has to somehow try and remedy the situation, and I don't believe he has the cure. Instead, it's Mia that cuts him out, and we move into round 51 at it all even.
Yeah, and then finally Team Spirit put a stop to it. That was 4 rounds straight on the T side for Entropiq. All tied up here. And obviously Spirit about to switch over to the T side. Would love the luxury of just having to win 1 round to force another overtime or 2 rounds to win it all. Up in the hands of Dexter, up in the hands of Elliot as well. Oh, is this fast sword? Is this a door bust? They get stopped. They decide to call it off. 3 players, a lot of fast pace there. But they put out the Molotov and just turn away. So knocking on the door quite literally of just blowing up into that upper bomb site and calling it off at the last second.
Seen Dexter in this position before, though, in the past. He did get a frag last time, but Magix gets too antsy, too aggressive through Squeaky, and pays the ultimate price. Dexter now trying to dodge bullets. They're not coming his way. But as long as he's watching lobby on this side, he can call to his teammates that ramp should, by and large, be clear. So it has a double-pronged meaning to it. Oh, they so nearly lined up for a 2-for-1. He decides to go back in again. This is madness from Dexter, but he gets smoked out back onto the site. Chopper's up close against Crad, holding this angle perfectly. Mia's gone in, and here comes Chopper. Only the 1 frag goes his way, but 2 players have been spotted, and that flash actually bounces off the wrong side of the wall. We're starting to see more mistakes, mechanical mistakes, creep in as the players get more and more tired. But Entropiq are pushing downstairs. Player in Decon has been smoked off. They can force the plant down. There's enough time to get this plant and take post-plant positions in this 2v3.
Yeah, they go to... Oh, this is dangerous. Nickelback can open the door on contact. There it is. Forrester's got 2. He's got a 3rd as well. Great crossfire. You're exactly right. They had the time to move into the perfect post-plant positioning for that. And Entropiq takes 2 rounds in this T side of what, 4th overtime? Yep, 4. Here we go. Buckle in, Vince. What do you think? We going 5 overtimes or are we going for a map win here?
I wouldn't be surprised in the Bro T. I would not be surprised, although it is the T side of Spirit, and I think you're actually completely nailed on here. It seems to me that Spirit have kind of, I don't want to say thrown caution to the wind because that suggests that they're fully tilted or something, but I think they've realized that going aggressive and freeing themselves up at this point is maybe the best option. We're seeing them take more aggressive peaks, seeing them take more aggressive kind of stances, and for the most part, it's been working out well for them. I just wish that they'd realized this a good sort of, 10 or 15 rounds ago, because they could have already had this one tied up. But as it stands, Entropiq, early utilities tossed in, bit of a stalemate. They definitely used more in the early stages of this round than Spirit have, but that's obviously only half the trouble.
Well, it's going to equalize right about now when the T's have to dump a lot of utility to set up a wall outside, to set up flashbangs to clear angles from the AWPs. That's kind of the great equalizer for the T side. Wall is up. Mir has already crossed. 3 more players behind him going towards Secret. SDY is going to lurk in towards lobby. Chopper's going to lurk outside. Actually, excuse me. They're going to turn around. They're going to go in through the smoke. They're going to go into the big garage. Big opening kill for Magix.
A cruncher of a headshot, albeit losing the bulk of his HP in the process. Some Die Young smoked out. 38 seconds to go. And the Spirit's starting to make moves down, but Elliot is here waiting. They don't mind sacrificing Magix, though, if it gets them a little bit of passageway. But different angle from Elliot. Molotoving him out. Well-placed molly. It does somewhat block their trajectory, though, through the double doors. And when you've only got 20 seconds left, each and every second counts so very much. Mia changing up his angles as a player up in position. We haven't really seen him use so far. And Lackey dropped the bomb down. Instant trade back, but Forrester is joined by Crad, and they lock it down with their M4s. Entropiq take the 2-round lead.
Yeah, and that Molotov, it's an improv molly thrown to the front of Hut, and unfortunately, the way it spreads, there's one safe gap. And Spirit did not expect it whatsoever. Oh, no. It's not looking good for Spirit. 27-25. And I believe we're looking at map point for Entropiq. It's been a while since I got to 4 overtimes. 28's the magic number, yeah?
It most certainly is. We've got 2 of them. We've already seen them let a couple slip through their fingers, but for the most part, it's Spirit that have way more map points at their disposal. Not really a stat that they echo too many times. But Entropiq are sat back and waiting. It's another slow initial stage to this. Smoke's about to be tossed out to outside. And some Die Young is watching for that ramp progression. We've seen a fair few lobby crunches from Entropiq over the last 10 or so rounds, so stands to reason that you'd sit in this spot and just see if they go for it again. But I am starting to worry a little bit for Spirit here, because they typically haven't done great when it gets towards the latter stages of these rounds.
Here we go. Upper exec. Forrester again close up to the door. Big first kill. Blinded for the follow-up. Perfect flashbang at SDY's. Got Crad from behind the Molotov, and another one on the entrance. Beautiful hit. Beautiful entries from SDY, and that keeps Spirit in the game. Going to attempt at this retake, but it just feels so unlikely. 2 on 3. Elian's in lobby with an AWP as well. They know the position of both players of Entropiq now, and Lackey, that's a tough off angle to win against. Chopper's going to back in. He knows they can just play the bomb, and there he goes. Elian, the last one left, completely blinded, and he's gone down as well. 1 round away from forcing a 5th overtime.
Utility so good. 2 players, you can see they're burning from Molotovs, forced out into position. This is much better from Spirit. We haven't seen that many executes that have been that successful for them, so impressive that they can throw this out in nearly 2 full maps of Counter-Strike that we've played here on Nuke so far. We're moving towards the 60th round at this stage. Another map point, though, for Entropiq. They can still get across the finish line, so Spirit need to keep themselves preoccupied. Dexter, though, nailed Elian outside and gives them a huge advantage going through. Not just for the outside control, but the overall standing and stature of this game. Because Elian's been a huge power play for them. He's been the ace up the sleeve.
Yeah, well, they better find a new one. Two players waiting for the smoke to fade in towards Big Garage. Nickelback hears all this. He's been so good. 43 kills, make it 44. Close to doubling them up with the spray. But now Team Spirit have complete control of outside, and Magix is going to pick up the pace.
Lackey repels him successfully. 3-play-3, 2 weakened players. Similar HP bars, and some die young, and Lackey. A bullet should finalize either of them, but Chopper's managed to wiggle his way all the way around through hell. Can go down ramp behind Lackey and go in for that pincer. Still, Entropiq are one big moment, one big play from taking their choice of map and moving to Dust 2 at a 1-0 lead. Just the first day of the CIS RMR. And it's been so tense, so much on the line. Lackey still sat in position, but Chopper finally gets that flank in, efficiently removes the head. Post plant comes up. Forrester does spot the player dart down through ramp. Would have definitely heard him. And maybe he is now that component they need to really chime off. Big headshot onto Forrester. Gives them a huge opportunity now to get the job done. There's still some smoke, still some utility on both sides to try and feasibly pull this one off. But Dexter has removed the threat of Crad and now looks to try and turn his attention to Forrester, who picks him up in return, tickles the bomb, trying to draw Sundai Young out into the open. But Sundai Young has the perfect angle, and we're headed to our 5th overtime.
That is a tough way to lose the map. 2 map points that time for Entropiq. That's brutal. Both of these teams just stall out when they get to like being able to the round that's going to win them the game. This is so tough. Entropiq's going to stick on the CT side. This was the opening kill. Good shot from Dexter. Haven't really seen a whole lot of duels outside in this fashion in this game so far, but that's a nice win. Miraculously, we've played 4 overtimes. We've basically played 2 maps of Counter-Strike, and Team Spirit still had 2 timeouts left.
Actually, a very good point here. Maybe not going to use them now, guys. Then when are you, realistically?
Yeah, they just been chilling. They've been having a good time, storing them up for a rainy day.
Well, they just pop one out now, and they've got a chance to maybe get this back underway. 27 apiece. Obviously, again, economy resets, mentality, hopefully, in theory, resets, but never quite that simple. Kill spread still over on Spirit, by the way, is exceptionally close, which it's one thing for it to have started close, but to have remained close throughout is kind of nuts. Goes to show that Entropiq, though, have a couple of very tired players that are going to need a chiropractor after this. And the meanwhile, Spirit has been smoked out on ramp. Lackey taking the same position that we've seen Chopper playing a couple of times with his AUG to varying degrees of success. Nice idea with the spray, but Forrester nearly loses his life trying to get aggressive through lobby. Survived on 14.
Here again, going to be the only player for Spirit going outside, but this time he's got to deal with Nickelback's aggression. Hasn't committed just yet. There's the smoke wall. Mir going to check it, but he's lackadaisical. Smoke in towards midi. Flashbang to follow up. SDY trying to just fake, trying to posture like they're trying to bust out door and get down vent. Molotov in towards J-Hall, but it's a little bit late. Elian had a chance. Now he's got to back off. And it's just 1 player down. Actually, excuse me, 2. Nickelback and Lackey. They've each got a side to deal with, to work with. There goes Lackey, but I don't think anyone actually saw Nickelback. They're not going to know he's here. Freebie number 2. Nickelback delivers on the defense, and it's just Dexter. And even though he's got that one, it's a 1 versus 3 from here, and only 20 seconds to do it with.
Yeah, this is looking incredibly unlikely. May get the drop onto Crad, but no, Crad has the right angle. Didn't matter. Elian has him on the cross, and that's it. They doubled up on the little alcove at the corner of the site. Nickelback with the 2 easiest kills of today for him. A huge moment again, and Entropiq. It seems like they typically get the first round. Like either Spirit clean sweep at 3-0, or Entropiq get the first, and it's a really scrappy OT period?
I think everything from here on out is going to be scrappy. Even the next map is going to be scrappy. It's just going to start out scrappy. It's going to start out right where we left off. Here we go again. Oh, here's your fast-paced upper sight. And yeah, it's been about 58,000 rounds since we saw this kind of a pace, so why not bust it out here? STY needs to pick up the ball. Molotov in towards heaven, 3-on-3, and chaos is the name of the game. There's about 7 smokes plumed on the map right now, and Lackey's found a way to get this flank off, and just as they clear, he gives the man advantage over.
The agent of chaos comes through on the squeaky 2v3. Mia has a good idea. Lackey's head has been surgically removed post-haste. 2v2, and it's pretty even in terms of the HP bars. Everyone's fairly healthy, but you can scratch that now because Nickelback's just been destroyed, and Elian has to get the hell out of there. He's been tagged down to 20. Entropiq take the first round of our 5th OT. Instantly Spirit come back, and I agree. I love the fact that Spirit have mixed it up. They've sliced and diced. They've gone for a mega aggressive A hit, and they've got the rewards.
The reward is just 1 round, and all tied up at 28. Spirit looking to have the advantage, switching over to the CT side in this 5th overtime. Yeah, I mean, again, we saw this in regulation just once, maybe twice, and maybe a couple times in some of the other overtimes. But, I mean, Spirit, because they've played so slow through a lot of this game, when they do switch up that pace, they either have the success in that fashion where they're taking that bomb site, or they at least get a decent amount of map control. It's not always going to be an entire bomb site taken in round 1, but sometimes it yields them, you know, a good chunk of the map. This time it's 4 players outside, and Chopper, actually, excuse me, he's like number 5 on top of Silo. All 5 players for Spirit here. Roof control, certainly one is going to be left in a lurk position, and it looks like it's Chopper.
Down to the murky depths of B. Spirit plunge one more time. As a full unit of players. And Elian with the first. The firing squad has been established, but it's actually mainly an army of 1. It's just Elian alone. They're peeking again, and it's the same result. Flashbang out, affords him a little bit more time. Even if he dies at this point without any more kills, he's done enough. But he continues to rip through. Spirit single-handedly. And kill after kill downrange before Mia will put an end to his kill streak. But surely the rest of Entropiq can get the damage done from this point.
I thought he was going to be on for the ace. He almost turned in time. Yeah, I don't necessarily think there's anything you can really do to get back into this round. You got to start with just 1 kill. So maybe double up. Lackey's playing behind the silo. He's been spotted. Chopper calls it out. Good win. Spam a little bit low. And Lackey now on top of the silo, which makes that position pretty much impossible. Entropiq take a 2-1 half as they switch sides.
So at this point, 32 is the magic number that both teams are jockeying and vying for. Elian, some fantastic AWPing, some of the best AWPing that we've actually seen the entirety of today, and he's busting that out nearly in the round 60. Very impressive. You can see that from Dexter's perspective that he looks tired. You expect that to be the case. Amount of focus and concentration that goes into these rounds in the game, Jason.
Yeah, these games, when it gets to this point, are just so exhausting. Even, I mean, I just remember coaching a triple overtime game, and I was just dead afterwards. Here we go. Another upper exec. Nickelback gonna lead the way with the MAC-10. Magus completely blind. That's the opening kill. He's got to find a way to come out of the smoke, but he can actually stay and be a little bit cheeky. Could be calling for a flashbang from a teammate. But I mean, they know the possibility. Crad knows there's likely someone up there, and there's the tags. It took too long to come to fruition. And now in a 5-on-3, barely any damage taken by Entropiq as well. This might slip away.
Could very well do so. They're looking to try and push out right now with the flashbangs. They're finding their way into heaven. Dexter can't quite land that flick across. Did spot the player peek up, which is Forrester, who's just forever basically residing around Squeaky. Every single round, he's basically lurking there. And although Dexter had the angle on Elian, he still comes out second best. Elian somehow is finding some of his best form of today in this round. We're getting down into the real depths of Counter-Strike. It's seemingly where he flourishes, where he manages to thrive. And Crad puts an end. 30-28, Entropiq lead.
All right, here we go. Match point for Entropiq. They've got 2 chances to close it out. They missed 2 opportunities earlier, I think in, what, 3rd or 4th overtime. I don't know why I'm trying to keep track of that still. It's
just
Mir
embrace
leading
the madness. Yeah. Just embrace it.
Listen, I wasn't ready for this kind of a game. It was my first day back. I wasn't mentally prepared.
Welcome back, Jason.
Yeah, I know, thanks. What a great party you've all thrown me. I appreciate it. Everyone in lobby, Lackey way back outside behind the silo, looking for some of that aggression. So I mean, they've got it in the back of their heads. Remember, I think it was in overtime 3 that Spirit was being really hyper aggressive on the CT sides. A lot of lobby crunches called out of spawn, a lot of pushes outside right out of the gate. So I think Entropiq is just realizing they have 2 chances to close this out. Don't give one away by not being prepared for some kind of aggression.
Things are slowing down to a bit of a snail's pace again. We've had a lot of explosive rounds from both sides, to be fair. Now some die young, smoke down, funnels away Forrester. Where else would he be but Squeaky? Lackey takes a bit of shrapnel. Nothing too significant though, negligible at best, and looking for a bit of a delayed climb on top of Silo. Maybe outside control via main into the site is the play that they want to go for here, but it looks like they're actually going to vent dive instead. 3 players bypassing all the A defenses to push downstairs. Dexter is here waiting for opportunities to present themselves, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. Elian puts his AWP to use. The bomb's been dropped in an awkward spot, but there's Crad. Picks up the pieces. It's a 3v4 with victory on the line, and Chopper comes in to clean house. 10 seconds left. They still need to retrieve the bomb. They still need to go in for the plant, and Chopper's done it again. Entropiq have let another map point go begging, but they still have one more, Jason. They still have another chance.
Of course they do. Well, so do Team Spirit. That's the crappy thing about giving yourself another chance, is the opponent's got one as well. What a great round from Chopper. He even saw one in the vents, gets the kill inside the bomb site, and knows where the follow-up fight is going to come from. 29-30. Again, Spirit just trying to hang on. Auto shotgun out on SDY. Up in the hands of Dexter.
Oh, it's a classic XM. It's been brought out again. We've seen it a couple times already. Been a while though, at least, because obviously with OT, typically teams will be able to afford a solid purchase throughout, but the nature of this scrappy 5th overtime could be headed to a 6th if Spirit can connect the dots. Entropiq are keeping their options open. They've got 3 players headed towards the ramp side. Very passive defense from Spirit, already putting 2 people in ramp. Magix is downstairs. Chopper, who is the hero, the savior of that last round, will be called upon again. His incendiary forces Entropiq back. They won't be pushing ramp anytime soon. And actually, they fully rotated into a potential A hit off the back of that. But Lackey is rotating and actually lurking downstairs and gets the pick on Magix. Nickelback all the way around the back, picked off Chopper. Another golden opportunity in a 5v2.
All this gameplay for such a massive miscue. No one from Team Spirit was watching outside. Nickelback walked all the way around to lockers and nobody saw him whatsoever. And that's the map. All that battle, 2 maps played, 60 rounds, and that's the way we lose it. Good win from Entropiq to stick in it a little bit longer. But man, you know what's tough about that one, Vince? It absolutely sucks reviewing games that you lost. And now you have 60 rounds of a game that you lost that you have to review. That's a whole other map that like you essentially have to review 2 maps that you lost.
Yeah, that's very true. But I also wonder, obviously, Moses, you got experience on this one. When it's that many rounds, how many of those do you just kind of sort of focus being out the window to a degree, and how many do you take like really seriously?
I mean, you take it all seriously. I mean, sometimes, I mean, regardless of whether it's fatigue or not, right? Like the idea is to have those mistakes so that even when you're tired, you're making the right play. But I mean, it's just sometimes hard to trudge through all of it, you know, motivation-wise, when you just know at the end of the day you're going to watch all this and you know it's just a loss that you're going to be staring in the face. So, look, I think there was a lot of important mistakes that they made in overtime that they're going to need to look at. And yeah, maybe you don't go all the way to the 5th overtime. Maybe you do the first 3, but I mean, they're going to have a lot of stuff to review and pretty much all that. But either way, we knew Nuke was going to be tough for Spirit. We knew Nuke was an important map for Entropiq to keep this series alive, because we knew if they'd lost it, they were at risk of going down 0-2 going into Dust 2. And now we get to come back after a break, after such a long game, and hopefully Spirit's got themselves reset and ready to go for Dust 2.
Мы долго искали организацию и очень обрадовались тому, что нашли организацию и нас все устраивает. Мы остановились на Entropiq. Ну, не знаю, но в целом, если смотреть на результаты, там, по Хауты-Оргу, то есть мы там были где-то 20-й командой мира и отобрались на ESL Pro Лигу. Я думаю, поэтому. То есть 2 RMR турнира, но я не знаю, если нормально сыграем, то попадем на мажор. Очевидно. Атмосфера в команде отличная. Вот сейчас на боткемпе сидим, тренируемся. Нам все очень хорошо, все готовы разрывать, убивать. Так, удастся ли увидеть что-то шокирующее? Я думаю, удастся, да. Мы очень долго готовимся, то есть сейчас вот на буткемп собрались и тренируемся, апгрейдим нашу игру и так далее. Я думаю, мы удивим. Ко всем командам готовились одинаково, то есть, ну, по мере возможности. Ко всем готовились одинаково, я думаю. Все ребята достойно играют.